Yay.
because last session was all about Cirilla. So, we start our adventure with Cirilla departing the party and heading towards the High Forest with Derendil. Her plan is to reunite Derendil with his kingdom and hopefully gain the power and support of an entire kingdom's worth of people. She heads deep into the forest, searching for the hidden kingdom. And she travels for several days. And as she's walking along, she discovers, or she happens upon a clearing where there is a unicorn drinking from a pool. Cirilla slowly walks up and approaches the unicorn, and the unicorn just walks away over to the edge of the clearing. Cirilla doesn't follow it immediately, and then it looks back as if expecting her to follow. So she follows Derendil close behind, and this goes on for a few days, with the unicorn staying just out of sight, or almost just in sight, far enough that you'd have to look to see it, see its beautifulness. And then eventually it just starts to speed up and gets faster and faster until even Cirilla, with her mighty pace, cannot keep up. And she tries to follow in the same direction, and she happens upon an old man who we talked to briefly, and he says, "Well, if you do me a favor, I will help you find this place." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'm sure I can help old man in the forest. I mean, whatever." And he's like, "Oh, but I've got 2 helpers because I feel like you will need friends and help with this." And I was like, "All right, sure, I'll take it." And this came in the form of a real shiny deer. I mean, its antlers were real shiny. And a fiery bird that thought things looked ugly. Worked out beautifully, either way, of course. Cirilla, being Cirilla, just accepted it. I mean, there's been weirder things happening in the Underdark. And she went off with her friends, or newfound friends, the deer leading the way. And as we get to our destination, a area in the forest that seems blighted almost. And as we reach there, a dark druid walks out from a tunnel under a tree, and is quite mad, quite bloody, like blood pouring out of his mouth, basically. So she sets off to purge this place of the evil that is infecting it. She does so. Then ventures into under the tree, into the tunnel, and is met by a necromancer who is being whispered into the ear of a shade that she actually remembers seeing as a child, or relatively a child. Her uncle conjuring from nothing this shade, this entity, and she promptly is surrounded by a good dozen or so skeletons, which she immediately kills with a destroy undead. And her 2 companions proceed to fuck everything up, and it was wonderful and glorious. Not without finding out where her uncle is. And then killing and leaving the necromancer for the forest to eat up and do what it wants with, for a little bit of payback in its own way. She goes back to the old man. Yeah, the job's done. I hope that helps. Can you tell us where we're going? Oh, like where's the hidden kingdom? And he's like, oh, the name of the city or the kingdom, I can't remember what it's called now, is means freedom in the Quaggoth language. And I'm like, what? That's weird for elves and shit. And then Durandil starts acting weirdly, like he's got a split personality all of a sudden, and then it breaks. The second personality breaks through and is angry, aggressive towards Cyrilla and the old man and the two animals, and effectively, Durandil wasn't a prince turned into a Quaggoth. He was a Quaggoth whose curse was that or madness rather, was that he was trapped inside a personality that thought he was an elf, turned into a Quaggoth, when in reality he's just a Quaggoth. Which drove him rather mad.
It's important to remember that Quaggoth and elves, by nature, have always been enemies, instinctually.
Yeah. Cyrilla couldn't bring herself to fight her friend. The deer subduing the Quaggoth for a while.
Calming magics to ease its soul.
Yeah. Not being able to put Durandil down out of his misery, she just promptly left, leaving the old man to deal with him, as he said. So she left, the deer and the bird offering to guide her way out, and she said, no, wait, I think we should head to where my uncle is, which was in the forest. So she heads there and is met with a plethora of undead creatures, mostly ghosts and hounds, and walks up to a clearing in old elven ruins, where she, across a small like pond, sees her uncle next to a old and powerful looking ghost. They speak for a while. Her discovering that he, although is using necromancy, is doing it to try and protect the land, and believes that it is the best way forward. Cyrilla saying that life should be cherished and these souls shouldn't be put through all of this, and especially you can't do all of this horror to the forest, like blighting it with the necromancy. And he was adamant he was going to help defend the mortal plane from the demons, and Cyrilla could see some good in that being his main focus. And although he's using her parents as puppets to rule the family, ultimately he's trying to protect them. So Cyrilla seeing the good in that and weighing up the evil of the necromancy and the goodness of the act, the ultimate act, she agreed on one condition: that she would let him carry on in the way that he's doing, that he leaves the forests and doesn't harm nature. And he agreed and ultimately left. But whether we call upon him ourselves, he will fight the evil regardless. We'll fight the demons regardless. And ultimately, Cyrilla doesn't see it as a good or bad thing. So long as it doesn't destroy the world in the process, she's somewhat happy. And after that, she was escorted out of the forest by her companions for a short time and bade them farewell and left to go see some family for a while. That's where her brief Disney princess-like story ended.
The talking deer and the talking bird.
Yeah.
Man, poor Darren, though. My gosh.
No.
It also confirmed something which we got hinted at by the Drow priestess when we were escaping the Underdark, which was that every single one of us who was captured and put in prison wasn't put there because simply we were Drow prisoners. We were specifically put together because of something about us. Supposedly, everyone in there had been inflicted with some kind of darkness, some kind of this dark magic or the madness.
Right.
And it's confirmed further with Darendil. Well, with Darendil also showing signs of this, and of course we also had the Drow who had the fungus in him, etc.
Yeah, we started.
Well, that can't be true though, because Gash is entirely sane.
I'm completely suspicious about Jim Dart now.
Well,
he's like the one in the background that's so nice and does absolutely nothing out of the blue.
No, his problem is that he's a chronic gambler. That's a mental illness.
I don't know if that's on the same tier as like were rats and like fungal infections.
No, it's not. No.
I don't know. So it's the quiet ones.
So, we didn't touch so much about the parting of Cirilla from the rest of the party, as all the rest of the party sort of had going to go with Riordan, Liam and Roland to help him, and Gesh because, well, Liam is going there, and if nothing else, it'll keep him with Cinder for a little while longer. One of the first things that happens when you leave the Suprin Hills to go out here is that Glabagul begins to like sizzle and like steam and hiss.
Oh no!
As the sun begins to evaporate him.
Oh God!
He seems to be somewhat confused and distressed at this. And Hemeth himself, though he has said that he wanted to go to Gauntlgrim, seems to like after just half a day in the sun, his eyes are red and like running, like tears that are not just like tears, but they're really like thick and sort of fluidy. His skin is also going gray and pale. Beyond that, any items you have that a drow make are beginning to like sizzle and fall apart.
Maybe we should, travel during the night so our companions
I'm
don't
sure
have to die.
As a matter of fact, has really got second thoughts about this whole thing, and he will sort of through some travel say that you know what, those Swift Neblin who were going to set up a caravan with Gauntlgrim, maybe he will go to Gauntlgrim that way.
Okay.
It's the long way. It's apparently a dangerous road, but this is not. The Servants is not at all like what he said. All the horror stories seem to be true about that's told in the Underdark with the surface.
The horrible,
terrible
hellfire
place.
sun.
He would like to go back, and he'll offer to take Lavagul with him because he clearly is shrinking.
That is
by the hour. So
that's fine, I think.
If he can't find his way to Gauntlgrim, then at least he can try to find Mental Dareth or hang out with the gnomes for a while. He's got some goodwill.
Sure. I can save her for both.
He looks at Cinder, perhaps a little reluctant to leave his ticket to wealth and fame, but the sun is it's just and all the sky, you see that they're flying things up here. But they they both will fall back and return to the deep dark.
Also, Liam, we've spent 6 months in the Underdark trying to reach the surface, and now you want to travel at night.
I'm just saying, to our.
I mean, your eyes probably hurt too, and you now notice how pale you are. Like,
oh my God!
Yeah, Gash is really pale.
Yeah, the
pale
is gray.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I thought Gesh was just great because he got really old.
I mean,
who knows?
Old grayscale, call him.
I admittedly, with Hemeth,
He's like a dragon, you know. It's just,
admittedly though, with Hemeth not liking the sun, Roland is subtly in the back of his mind, though he doesn't say it. It's almost kind of thinking payback for all the coughing inside the city of Blades.
Yes.
the drow make items. They sizzle and very quickly evaporate. Trying to hide them proves effective at the beginning, but given the number of days you travel, at some point they are exposed enough that they hiss away.
Yeah, I was about to ask if Roland could just, for example, put.
If you want to, of course, you can give them to Hemeth, and he says that he might just buy food for them or something. I mean,
Does this also include magical weapons?
yes, magical drow weapons also.
Which in my case, in which case my drow +2 short sword is going to be just destroyed, so Hemeth might as well take it.
I mean, I might as well give it to him. He might have find some use for it.
Again,
you can have the armor as well.
Yeah.
Bring it to Gauntlgrim. We'll pick it up there.
Wait,
Dare sell it.
Dramic?
he won't
goddamn-
bring it, but you know.
It's fine.
Rude.
Oops.
It's the GM saying we can't have nice things from you on out.
Yeah, we had too many. We had a magical item each, and that's too
That's
much.
fine. That's fine. I'll hook you up later. It's fine.
Promise.
I won't promise. No.
You'll let you promise.
Don't promise to the bard.
I presume I can heal up, Maniko.
Yes. You know, there are a few hill people who sort of look at you from the distance, but they decide, no, these people come from the Underdark. They don't look ragged enough that these guys want to mess with them.
Okay.
The first time you get to them is where the people you rescued are from. They're very happy to be set off, and very quickly just sort of, you're offered meals and your stay if you want to, and they will listen to your stories. Though as they get too gloomy and dark and about demons, they will sort of, this is not the stories they hope for. They wanted heroics, not like this realism. They don't need that.
I mean, we can give the heroic how we saved a town.
I can give the PR spin on it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Basically, things will be fine because you all are heroes, and it seems like such heroes. Have a free beer, That's sort of the vibe you get. People are not interested in hearing about all the doom and gloom. The prices of horse feed is going up, and they got enough to see to with it. And,
I like how their concerns are so trivial compared to.
oh, to you now,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
trivial. The wages.
The world is going to end. Who cares about hay?
Yeah, they with that, basically, with those kinds of outbursts, you're quickly.
Yeah.
Ignorance is better than panic.
So
Stupidity is not a right.
Everything's fine. That's the new proclamation. Yeah. With going to Tribor, of course, this is where Cyrilla and Darendil split off. Darendil looking very much forward to getting back to his real form and finding his father. They're optimistic. They know where to go, and they're so very close now.
I'm sure they'll do great.
Yeah. Beyond that, you don't hear from them, for a while. Really.
Before Darendil leaves, Gesh just says, "Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing you again. You've been a great friend to many of us."
Oh no.
You son of a bitch.
I mean,
It would be a shame if...
Yes, I sincerely do hope you
Finally
become the
being
prince
able
you
to
wanted to
take
be.
a glass of elven wine with all of you.
Congratulations, you're only 2 weeks away from retirement.
I mean, in fairness, at the same time, Roland would have also kind of gone to him to kind of apologize for not being able to go and help him.
It's fine. Cyrilla is powerful and mighty. I don't think there's any trouble we couldn't handle together.
Oh.
It's true.
You ran away from him.
And with that, the party parts. Away from Tribor during the Tribor Trail, your goodwill sort of fades as people forget who you are. They don't know that you saved anybody. You're just another group of adventurers, probably heading to Neverwinter. The talk of the town or talk of the road is that a lot of people are heading to Neverwinter. Gauntlgrim has been reclaimed by the dwarves. Some time now, trade is gonna flow any time, and Neverwinter, that's the closest port. It seems like a lot of people want to get on that gravy train of the dwarven industry that is said to be kicking up in Gauntlgrim.
Quite true.
I don't see any good access to Goblin, unfortunately.
No, true.
Beyond that, of course, Lord Neverember, the Lord of Neverwinter, Lord Protector, so to speak, has been really making the road a lot safer recently. Though it is said that the nobles are somewhat unhappy with him because he is tightening his hold on the city. Travelers generally think of that as the best.
Petty squabbles. Who cares?
Yes.
As you turn north.
Liam is actually a fan of Lord Neverember. He is giving good work to the company from time to time.
Oh yeah.
And he pays. I mean, he's not lavishing gold on them, but he's not trying to stick it to them either. So it's a fair wage from Lord Neverember.
He's a hard and fair ruler.
Yes.
He does not take shit from anybody,
Nope.
but he does not give a lot of it either.
He is a man you know, and that's better than a man you don't know. So.
Though some people will mumble about him being somewhat of an autocrat, taking all the power for himself and making sure that no one can oppose him. Ruling with somewhat of an iron fist.
If it's a good iron
The noble
fist.
families have had influence for a very long time, and the guilds, he has disbanded a lot of the large trade guilds forcefully that sort of monopolized different trades, bringing them out to the greater public, which of course a lot of people aren't happy about.
You know.
Then again, he's known as a friend of adventurers, which has lent him a lot of ability. The word is that Lord Neverember here in Neverwinter has had a very troubled history.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of adventurers have been there. He has been paying them well and giving them fair discourse, for the most part at least. And, well, having them is something that many noble houses cannot deal with. Adventurers don't like to be asked to bow and scrape.
No, they don't.
I have much experience with adventurers not liking it.
Going onto the high road and then going north here, this is an actual road. It has it's cobbled and there's guard towers and taverns and stuff. Yeah, like how is the mood going north towards Neverwinter?
For Riordan, you'll see the closer they get, he's definitely in a much more cheery mood. His surroundings are much more familiar to him, and he's just happy that he's heading back home after almost a year of just absolute terrible, just horrible stuff that he should never have experienced, but he has, and he's probably never going to be the same again, but he's still quite happy that he's heading back home, although he's a bit grim because he knows what's waiting for him there. So.
Yeah, at some point during the travel, probably on a fairly sunny day. What season is it, anyways?
It is spring.
Spring. Oh, nice sunny days, dewy grass, and all that.
Still a little cool. It is fairly well in the north, but yeah, you can certainly be outside. You wouldn't not wear your boots for the world, and probably not go dipping in the water either. But yeah.
He's never going to swim again. Just saying.
Yeah, at a particularly sunny and cloudless day, I think at some point Gesh would basically say stop to the party, and then just lay down on the grass for half an hour.
That sounds like a good plan to me. Rid will definitely join you in that.
He's not outwardly jovial, but he's certainly determined and content.
That's good.
Even if he does like to talk about the impending doom quite a lot, and how he will save everyone, because that's what he has decided.
Roland is restless, and that's putting it lightly. He's slightly more irritable than usual, and he doesn't have the same upbeat necessary attitude the rest of the party does in some regards. To him, he's going further away from what really drives him. And with his madness as well, kind of pulling on that, he's making him very kind of anxious and comfortable. just sitting around is not really that appealing to them. Likely during the travel, he's been asking Liam if he'll spar with him and train during moments where the group can't travel anymore. Just trying to find something to occupy his time and focus on something other than the irritable doom of below.
Liam has also been focused. He's very happy and relieved to be up on the surface, and he will, lay on the grass and just take it all in for a bit. But he is certainly he is a man with a purpose. We are here to do a thing, not necessarily run away. We need to warn some people that shit's going down there. He doesn't know how to fix it, but he thinks that at least some people need to know before we do anything. Because we can't beat all of those demon lords. That's not something we can do. So some more people need to get involved here. Our plan is before Bladed, or I don't know, contact Elminster. I don't fucking know. Like, we need something needs to happen down there that we can't do alone. So he's worried about that. Then of course his friend Riordan has requested his presence, and he does realize that something is weighing quite heavily on Riordan's mind. And he's a good friend, so Liam wants to help. So he comes along.
Something I think that's binding a lot of us together at the moment is wanting to help out each other and like reorder. Yeah.
I mean, we basically are alive thanks to each other, so it seems that we sort of
help each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine Liam is pretty cool with the idea of Roland wanting to train from you and kind of learn a bit more proper fighting style instead of just kind of self-taught.
Yes, absolutely.
Because Roland's, of course, been very self-taught in his fighting style, but he is actually seeking to get stronger.
Liam would try to suss out like what type of fighting is Roland actually like. What does he want? Does he want to train how to dodge and slink away like he usually does? Flank and find openings, or like what is this type of fighting he wants to learn?
It seems like part of what Roland's come to realize is in general it seems like Roland definitely seems like he feels he needs to get stronger here, get tougher. He can't stand up to the constant blows that you can, and can't stand up with kind of the pounding the pounding fury that is below. He wants to get tougher, wants to be able to build up his defenses more and actually be able to properly be able to respond and hold his own, and not just have to evade and pull out all the time.
Alright, sure. And then there will be like endurance training, strength training, the proper way to hold a sword that is not just to stab someone, with a thrust, but also actually do proper swings and
actual sword
parries.
technique, proper sword styles instead of just using self-taught kind of training.
Yep.
While this is going on, Riordan is furiously writing down all the techniques you're teaching. He's just gonna end up giving like an entire battle manual to roll.
Like give them like extravagant names.
Yeah. It's just a simple parry, but it has some weird like.
Yes, it is parting the curtains.
Yeah.
It is this point where Riordan decides to take an alias for his fighting manuals. Chooses Sun Tzu.
Yes.
Yes.
The art of. He'll come up with it later.
Yeah. Something. Yes.
We'll see.
Yeah. Roland does have a strong respect for Liam's abilities and his fighting style, and you're also a fusion of martial and magic, which you're similar in that regard.
We do. That's the thing, right? Because both Liam and Roland have resources that normal a town guard doesn't have. They're extra. They have physical capabilities far beyond, but they also have the magic to back them up, and that's certainly, Liam can't employ a lot of it, but for certain moves, he can do things like simply turning into mist, appearing behind someone, and just slashing them to bits.
I mean, we've done that against bosses now, where we just both teleported behind someone and slashed them to pieces.
Yeah, and these sort of like killing moves are certainly very good to practice at.
And Riordan himself, he's not a very good fighter. He's more of a caster, but at the same time, he's not a Valor Bard, but he is very good at using his guile in combat. So he can probably teach Roland a few things about basically creativity and misdirection in a combat situation.
Appreciate that. Something other than just lying around, because certainly when like Gesh and like everyone just decides to just lay down on the grass, Roller just kind of looks over at that and just like irritably like goes over then and just kind of can like sits down next to all of you and just kind of starts ruffling through his bag and like searching for stuff, maybe writing in his journal.
Yeah.
Trying to do something to occupy his time. You can't just lay down and relax right now.
It's fine. Raiden will play something very soothing.
Made partly worse also as something the group probably encounters, because Roland of course only sleeps half the time. You guys do.
Yes.
So maybe one of you wakes up in the morning hearing like distant sound of Roland like training and like sparring, like basically sparring. It's like targets he built during the night.
My gosh, he's doing it again.
Basically.
Yes.
Just a constant thing like every night.
Jim Jar is pretty much just hanging out by himself. He doesn't seem to do much, mostly just observing and looking around. In the Underdark, he did a lot more gambling than he does now. Seemingly, he might not know the odds on a lot of the things happening, or at least he's not that interested. Eldith has been sort of also going a little quiet, though for a different reason. She seems to not really have thought that you would ever get this far, even though she was sort of working as hard as she could to do it. You'll see her often enough looking at you training and such with almost a motherly smile. Like, just happy that you got here and that she got to know all of you. And that no one sort of got left behind in the end. Vargas, he's going forward, he's scouting, he's very active now. He's sure that after Neverwinter and then Goddelgrim, then you'll all go to all the way down to Waterdeep and deliver the sword, the Dawn Blade, to the Order of the Gauntlet, like he promised. And then things will be fantastic, because they will surely help. And he's very excited.
His optimism is just wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
It's
maybe Riordan thinks that maybe he once had that. But
once, yes. It's kind of a wistful kind of sigh he gives at his antics.
Cinder has been languishing a lot on Gesh's shoulders, just asking him in a low voice about things that you pass.
Oh, I guess we'll be more than happy to
certain
explain.
things. Trees, for example, the sky. A lot of these things, the sort of is mostly just trivia, really. The Wormling sort of trying to piece together the world and how it works. Given his unusual intelligence at a young age, like a young dragon is able to actually ask questions about things instead of simply learning by, trying to touch the hot stove.
Not that the hot stove would hurt a red dragon.
No. But yeah, he's still growing and sort of getting bothersome to carry around, like to the point where maybe Gesh sometimes has to let him walk by himself. Another thing Cinder has done is fly for the first time during this time. Like really fly. In the Tribor Trail. At one point, when he was forced to walk, he got a little mad at it and decided to fly instead, almost instinctively, able to soar on the wind, the hot wind.
Share a beer with Gesh in the evening and be proud parents.
He seems to enjoy it, and he is taking to when he's not hanging out with Gesh, to roaming a bit away from the main party and sort of exploring on his own, coming back with a hair or whatever. Like sometimes like a few pieces of gold he found somewhere.
Like an arm.
Never anything that would lead you to directly believe, or basically nothing that would prove that he's doing bad things.
Is that a baby's arm, Cinder? No. As he like picks his teeth with it. Yeah. Well, I'm very proud of him.
He's wonderful.
Yeah. You continue north towards the gates of Neverwinter, an old and ancient city with a long and troubled history. Some of you might know more of it than others, but no one probably has a full understanding. I don't think Riordan is from Neverwinter, but he's not been there for a while.
No.
as you arrive at the gates of Neverwinter. City in ruin still, as it's been the entirety of Riordan's life. Like half the city has been a ruin. You know, new nobility does well there, given that there's not that much old nobility
To interfere, yes.
As you arrive, you see that the wall, which has had a long time of disrepair, seems to have actually reached a state where it's hard to cross it unless by the actual gates. Many of the houses seem to have been sort of repaired even outside the walls, few as there are, and the walls do seem to be patrolled by guards in the colors of Neverwinter. Yeah, as you basically approach the gates, you see that there's a good number of guards, like 5 guards standing there, who sort of hail you as you come close enough. Hardy, who are you? Approaching the gate armed and with such company.
Reardon will lift up a hand in kind of a pacifying gesture and say, I'm Reardon Heartspark, and here with my companions. We've been gone for a very long time from here, but now we've returned. The interesting story, perhaps, to tell. Kind of gesture back to.
Look at you. Come closer, then. Come closer. Adventurous, I presume. He says, sort of looking at Cinder and Jimjar and all of you. They have quite a few of the kind coming through here.
Ankeg, plate, Liam.
Yeah, like magical weapons and no discernible trade goods or purpose.
They're going to call us saviors soon enough.
Are firebolts considered trade goods?
Yes.
Over here, another one says. It gestures for you to come into one of the towers by the gate.
Sure.
A little office table have been set, a bunch of papers and such. She will say, a new way to take care of adventurers. You've not come through here any time recently?
No, it's been quite a while.
No, it's very well then. I suppose we'll go through the first time procedure. I would like all of you to state your names and your profession. If it is something strange, you might have to spell it for me. Takes a quill and begins signing up what seems to be adventuring forms. Beyond that, I will require some sort of identification for you as a collective.
Well, we already have our party name, don't we?
The Merry Companions, yes.
Merry Companions, is that what we're going for?
Yes, as we looked drawn and pale and malnourished.
Alright, well, we'll give that.
Hey, we're not malnourished. How dare you?
Hey, since we've been on the service, Roland's been feeding you a feast from the forest.
That's true. It's just carved up deer and stuff in our wake.
You know the extra 4 hours Roland's away training. Part of that training might be just might be hunting down animals and bringing them back for food for the group.
Oh, there we go.
You guys are well fed. Roland even has a large bag of spices with him.
So easy. I killed 7 boars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can do nothing to stop me.
Nothing.
I mean, it's even made fitting given the profession Roland would put down on his sheet is just hunter.
Yes.
Because that's what he was before he became all this. He literally just hunted food for a village. That was more so.
I'm trying to think of the hardest to pronounce, most obscure and niche profession I can think
I
of.
mean, scream in his face that you're a server of the world devourer, the great beast who shall once upon a time, devour the stars themselves.
Just say you're a pact maker with
all bow down to his nightmarish majesty. His
No,
dark
Liam.
lord.
I am T-Max.
These
Yes,
things-
exactly.
Proper prank has to be subtle.
Just say you're a Dendarian. He won't know what that is.
Or maybe he does and gasps.
So what just
Yeah.
put down in the chat there. What do you actually like put in?
Oh, I have an idea.
Get your information.
Roland using his full elven script in his handwriting.
Yes.
Yeah, guard rolls his eyes like he's, he perhaps believes he's heard all of whatever adventurers have to put down.
No,
Roland thinks it's very funny to write like a fart joke or something instead, but hey, they get to be called it at all the official things.
The poor
You know.
guard. He's
I consider having Drow Hunter, not just Hunter in there, but
Hunter. Yeah. Hunter of everyone.
traveling librarian.
Yes, that is the most.
Well, he is
obscure-
after the best library of all time.
That is true. That is true.
ambitious librarian.
Very
ambitious traveling librarian. He only has one book, and you don't want to read it.
As it is Gesh's turn, one of them takes a double take, basically says, "Oh, yes." As she looks at the paper, Gesh. Then we were asked to keep an eye out for you.
Oh.
Oops.
Yes, your brother has. He asked if you had come through here recently. He's
Of
in
course
town
he
helping
has.
repair the Hall of Knowledge.
Of course he
I
does.
understand that he was looking for you. Apparently, you ran away. He sort of smiles slightly. Maybe they've talked. Maybe there's a story there that he found amusing.
I'll have you know I didn't
I
run
understand your
away. I
father
got
is
kidnapped.
looking for you as well.
Oh. Yes.
You should be able to find them around the Hall of Knowledge. They're working.
I suppose the conversation is in order.
Says very well. Then you might have earned me another gold piece. They said you would come sooner or later.
Sooner or later, yeah.
Yeah,
Just a year, it's
pass
perfectly.
you through. As Riordan comes up, one of the guards sort of look at him and sort of, again like asks another one something, and then they look and say, "So, adventuring then, Mr. Heartspark."
Yes, not by choice, but it is the way it is.
They sort of singing, "Don't I know it?" And he gives Riordan like a pat on the back and says, "Oh, I like you. You always seem so aloof, but well, just a little surprised, Congratulations, anyway. Though, jokes as we might be, it's good to see new families starting in the region."
Yeah, Ern gives him a wink and then says, certainly try my best. So, let's see.
No, he and shakes his head, says, "It's the way it has to be." Oh, very amused. He signs off on the paper, says, "Very well." And then he sort of looks around and says, "Where is he? Who's next?" So tell him we have another group of adventurers. They'll need a while. How long do you anticipate staying? He looks at you. A few days, weeks, months. You looking for work?
Ern kind of tilts his head for a moment, thinking, and then says, possibly a week at best, but it's possible it might be much longer. We shall see.
All right, we'll assign you Broomore to keep an eye on you. Not that I think we would need it for a citizen, but as you know, it is the law.
Protocol is protocol. I understand.
As someone else comes in, basically from the side, a side door, probably a little watch room or something. Perhaps after playing a hand of cards, being interrupted, some such, as she's being ushered in. Halldamir, why don't you tell us what this character looks like?
Well, walking in, probably making sure that his heavily plated gauntlets are properly attached, take him off to play cards, obviously. Is a stout dwarf, built very heftily, with a
Oh my.
strong metal shield on his back, and a large warhammer on his side.
Oh yes.
He strides in, sounding almost like he weighs more than Liam, and it could just be pure muscle. Probably is. You can see emblazoned on his armor and on his shield is the symbol of Torm. And he gives the look of somewhat like Cyrilla gives you the look that she knows. He knows, he's definitely a person of a god. As he walks in and looks at the guards and says, "Are these really going to be in my charge?"
Well, it's the young Master Heartspark. You better show him importance. He's about to be very important, I hear. Sort of smiles. Just the usual. Keep an eye on them. Make sure that they don't rampage through things, loot the family crypts and whatnot. We don't want a repeat of last week's incident. Never Ember's orders. Standard, usual.
I'd be in a
You'll
bit
get
of
back to sitting
that.
around soon enough.
He smiles and says, "Well, I don't want to get it. I don't want anything getting as messy as last week."
He grins slightly and says, "What a time to be alive."
Kind of chuckles and then walks up to the party and I
You
don't
sort
know.
of ushered out as another couple people come in behind you.
Rin will give a wave on his way out.
The guard sort of gives you a broad smile, shaking his head again at your joke.
It's not a joke.
You're all gonna die.
Reorder will probably hear under the near constant kind of message spell. He just
Yeah.
Roland likes to keep the secret messages going when he needs wants them. Just like, busy place. Only last week.
Say, that's the way it is here. I'm getting used to it.
Yeah.
A lot of smiles before the day's out.
Glances over towards the dwarf that's following him around. Just wonders if the dwarf could actually keep an eye on him if Roland really didn't want to be kept an eye on. But
Show you a map of
because Roland is fairly aware, most people can't keep an eye on him.
Yes.
If he wants to disappear, he disappears. Does help he has invisibility.
Yes. Also, when they're ushered out, Ridden will go up to Brumar and shake his hand. Basically saying, apologizing for being such an inconvenience, but hopefully that it won't be too much trouble to him.
He smiles a bit and says, "Oh, it's no problem really. It's my job. The oh Lord keeps me busy this way."
That's true enough.
Liam looks him up and down.
Ridden kind of gives like a side look to Liam with his eyebrows raised, like.
No, it's he's sizing him up.
Mhm.
Be like,
It's fine.
Brummel will say, "So, adventurers, what are your names? I didn't look at the sheet before." "I am Brummel, Paladin of Torm."
Well,
Oh, what a coincidence. That's my name too.
that's not.
Wow. Wow. Coming out full dick.
My name is Gesh, traveling imposter.
My name is Gesh the Second, complete asshat.
I don't think that deception's gonna work. He's
No.
probably just
What?
gonna laugh you off.
Oh, well, Liam will say his name. He's Liam.
Reader will say his name and say that he's a noble of Neverwinter himself. So
Yeah, I mean,
he knows.
Bruno
Probably.
would know the probably. He's not really noble, family, interesting kind of guy, but he would know of the heart sparks. They're somewhat some semi-famous like bardic magic item purveyors.
Mm-hmm.
Roland's response is just flat Roland, and nothing else.
Oh, poor Roland.
So SS.
Just gives him a pat. It's okay, buddy.
He kind of glances a little bit confused down at Roland.
Be out of here soon. It's fine.
Oh, he looks to Riordan and says, "Well, as the talkative one, where do you and your merry companions wish to go?"
Well, the question is, first of all, whether or not they want to come with me first to find my father. I know that Gesh has his own ideas, and his brother's waiting for him, so...
Even more of a reason to go with you.
Well, settled then. But first, I will need to go to the manor to see who is there. It's been quite a while since
So-
my departure.
Before we go into the manor, what sort of welcome are we to expect? Should I go ready for battle?
We're gonna kind of go silent for a bit, and says, "No. Although he might not be too happy to see me, it has been a year since I left, and honestly, I don't know what will be waiting for me. I do sincerely doubt, though, that there will be trouble of that kind, but could never be too careful. But I don't think you should come in with your sword out, that's for sure."
Alright. He looks perhaps a bit disappointed. And will settle into a more, calm expression.
That said,
Though one notice I do need at some point to get myself a new short sword. My previous one just turned to dust.
well, that could be our first order before we go then.
Just toss a gold coin into the closest shop.
Usually
Get a
find a
sword.
place to buy a short sword.
Okay.
Double price, as usual, but that's nothing for you now.
It's just a point that my previous short sword kind of turned to dust.
Yeah,
That's understandable.
Well, one turned to dust, and the other one I had to
it's
give
an
away.
adventuring town. A lot of ruined houses where people can set up shop in prime locations.
Yes. Rita knows all the hot spots, although some new ones have come up since his departure, so...
Getting lots of new people. Also seems like some people are like sleeping in ruins and impromptu repairing old houses and such.
Yes.
A lot of mumbling about like, oh, soon the wealth of Gauntlgrim would come, and then the dwarves are said to be very generous, and
Ah, yes,
say
it's
that Bruno Battlehammer is a real generous dwarf. He'll surely like make the jewel trade come up again.
it's like a reverse
Yeah,
funnel
like,
where everyone
like-
profits.
Cobbling on the street.
To turn the pyramid scheme on its head, you know.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are like, oh, they don't want to live there because they're not dwarves, but they want to part of the wealth, and this place is definitely going to be. So,
It has
lots of
certainly improved
squatters and such.
from the last time Riordan was here. Which is, always good to see.
Now, before we visit his family, I need to go to the bathroom, so I'll be right back.
There we go. I now have the shiny new short sword.
I mean, that said, Jonas, I mean, if you want to hit somebody,
Yes.
we'll see.
Brumo's eyeing you both now.
Looks over. Tries to.
He looks back and gives him a wink, as if this has been like a massive inside joke of sorts.
Nudge, nudge.
See it.
Wink, wink.
So, paladin, huh?
He nods and says yes.
Nods again, says, well, I have seen your kind fight in the past. It's usually quite impressive.
He nods. Says yes, and it would depend on the oath that they've taken. Of course.
Looks at him. And what oath have you taken then, Sir Knight? If you, pardon me asking.
It's like asking a woman her age, Jones.
It's very personal.
It's very personal.
He smiles and says, of conquest.
Liam looks surprised and then looks back at the gate and then looks back at Brumor and says, then why on earth are you guarding a gate?
Because in conquest, one must hold the lands he takes.
And you think because you have entered the city, you have conquered it?
No, quite the opposite. I work for the Lord. The oath of conquest does not mean I have to do the conquering.
Ritter will kind of wave his hand and say, helping the helpless, such and such.
Yada yada yada.
For destroying evil, protecting the world,
Blah blah blah.
blah blah blah. It's a great profession.
From our nods, yeah, it is. I mean,
It's a great profession.
I'm not hearing anything I'm disagreeing with.
Roland seems disinterested.
Oh,
I'm back.
welcome back.
Yeah. Is everyone else back? No one else left. So, then tell me, where are we going in this city?
Well, if nobody has any other concerns, Riordan will be going to the manor of his house first of all.
Well,
yes, go on.
mm,
I mean, if you want to do something else, we can do it first.
no, Liam just wants to maybe he'll ask the guard if he has heard if the Spiral Vanguard mercenary company is in town or around.
Right.
But has their movement been spotted anywhere near Neverwinter recently?
I'll answer that. Sure. The Spiral Vanguard has been in Neverwinter recently. However, due to talk or sounds of the orcs of the Kingdom of Many Arrows sort of beginning to lure again, apparently a white dragon in Icewind Dale has gathered a bunch of orcs, and though it was banished from the 10 towns, it has moved across the spine of the world to the orcs, where it has emboldened them. So the Spiral Vanguard was hired by the Lord's Alliance to go and quell some of these things before they get out of hand, as they have in the past.
Well, they are out of reach then. That is unfortunate, but he thanks him for the information.
Of course.
On the way to the manor,
Yes.
I'm assuming the manor is like in one of the better districts of the town.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the first ones that were prepared, close to Castle Never.
There's probably a really good tailor on the way.
Oh, there's certainly. Riordan can definitely usher you towards a good tailor.
Lots of adventurers needing fancy clothes for meeting nobles.
Well, Gash does want to look fabulous when he.
I
when he
mean,
meets his
Riordan
brother.
can get everyone fitted, if that's a thing.
If you would like to. I already have 2 sets of fancy clothes, but you can have a third.
Yes. He still has
Liam has no set of fancy clothes.
Oh,
Yes.
Keeping sets.
right
One-
now,
Oh no, I only have 1. I have 3 sets of clothes, only 1 is in fancy.
all of you probably look very out of place, given that your equipment is like patched of like Dwergar and Swift Nebula
Yes,
Mink,
yes.
and like insect plate,
Hey,
and
excuse
jagged
me.
swords, and all these like you don't look like the good guys.
My ankeg plate is fabulous.
Riordan just takes a look at Liam and
It
scratches-
glistens green in the sunlight. It is
He
beautiful.
just scratches his chin. He's like, no, this won't do. This won't do at all.
Adventure.
Excuse me.
You have no pantaloons, Liam.
Where's your tabard? Come on.
Oh my god.
Pantaloons, you must.
Yes, I must be pressed and.
Like those shoes with like a spiral at the end.
Oh yeah.
Puffy arms.
Yeah, it is very
Shirt.
in here to go with Waterhavian fashion,
Ugh.
Yes.
which is very fashionable.
Riordan shrugs and says, "You'll get used to it eventually."
It seems impossible to fight in. I mean, I don't know why.
Waterhavian fashion.
Lots of purples and like fur frilling and
No,
ornamentals.
No. You're not putting Liam in fur frillings.
Riordan will make his case pointedly until you do so.
Liam
He
would
has fought with you in many desperate battles. The least you could do for him is wear a purple fur thing.
Liam feels like he's being extorted.
If you had ever been my friend,
You would do this one thing just for me, right now.
Roland was standing behind Riordan. Roland was standing behind Riordan, is going to look over at Liam, smug, and quietly just cast disguise up to make all his clothing look fancy.
Oh, fuck you. Liam
Liam,
will...
there are battles where
Yes.
frills will be your weapons, and fur will be your armor.
Cinder takes flight.
I will say, Liam, you are so dashing, you will cut the head off anyone you ever meet.
Oh no, Liam's resolve is being broken down. All of this makes suddenly a lot of sense.
And
yeah.
then we skip to like, the tailor saying, on the Hardspike account, of course.
Of course, yes,
We're
please.
gonna raise his hand. Yes, yes.
Yes, you have Liam in like a pimp coat. Big brimming hat, long, and then like leopard fur, like on the edge.
he will
Few
offer.
ornamental
He will,
rings and the like, gaudy, if anything.
there is a tabard that guests can wear that he can offer as well. It has his house symbol on, but it's more of a very ornamental thing. So it's not necessary.
Doesn't this mean that I'm like a house servant or something? Liam thinks when he looks
No,
at the
it's
tablet.
more of a friend, more of a by association. I am
I mean, Liam is not a noble, but now he's a friend of a noble.
the friend of a noble. He can get you places.
Get the friend badge.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get into the club. Not the VIP place.
No,
but you
no,
can
of
get
course.
no,
You can you can have a beer in the entrance.
Again, Waterdeep fashion and sort of culture. It does bleed in quite a lot, though Neverember seemingly fights with tooth and nail against it.
Roland actually doesn't seem to mind too much like the idea of having to be dressed up in Waterdeep style fashion. Admittedly, it's odd for Roland because he grew up looking at people going around that as being the rich folk being like the rich folk he like scowled at, and now it's like, wait, now he's buying the clothes he saw them in.
Yes.
He grew up in Waterdeep. He's used to that kind of styling.
However, noble as he
him and
is,
Riordan might also, and Gesh for that matter, might be able to distinguish that some people here have this kind of stuff, but like a little wrong. Like
yes.
people who know it's clear that most of these people are plebes just trying to look. But you know how to get the real like purple.
I've
purple
been in the
coats.
business for quite a while.
The business.
The business.
Tips the big hat.
Yes.
Roland is not going to mention the fact he used to steal from the business in this case.
Hey, it's my family's money. It's my money.
Looks very nice, like perfumed.
Don't
No
worry,
worry,
he won't even notice. It won't even make a dent in the finances.
Yeah, incredible.
Oh, 4 sets of fancy clothes were bought and some perfume. Yeah, that's probably my wife.
Oh, Riordan says,
She's
"Yeah,
right there.
this is how I get back at him. Spend all his money."
On clothing.
That's gonna be a lot of clothing.
Yes.
He's just got to buy one piece of clothing that's embroidered with diamonds.
Just one fantastic clothing.
Pearls, actually, is what the fashion here is.
There you go. Makes sense.
But also, as we're, I suppose, finishing up getting fitted, Riordan will teach Roland how to hide his dagger so he can get easy access to it beneath his clothes. Because as a noble, yeah, sure, you wear noble clothes, but you still offer some protection.
Like all of this coat and stuff is like Liam's not taking off his armor, you know.
Oh no! Look, I mean, I
The
can say you're
tailor
my
will
bodyguard.
look at Riordan and look at Liam and look at the armor. Say, do you really want me to fit it over that?
Riordan will sigh and say, "It's necessary. I know it's terrible, but
He wrinkles
for
his
today."
nose at the smell and then begins spraying down the armor with like
You know,
he's just so steadfast in his
like a giant
opinion.
bug.
Really hard.
in Roland, it's interesting in Roland's case because Roland completely knows that he can't. If he opens his mouth, he's going to cause trouble.
Yes.
Roland realizes he's not great around people, but you know what Roland does know? Roland, unlike Liam, knows, at least in something else, he can make his appearance look good enough that hopefully he doesn't have to say anything and it'll still be a good impression.
Yes.
He's also an elf. An elf's always good.
Yeah, Roland will not be wearing his armor to the meeting.
You can make yourself look mysterious enough that people won't bother you or are too scared to bother you. Nobles are, weak-hearted anyway, so
Not
not me.
Roland will make a significant effort on Riordan's part. I promise to help.
It's very appreciative.
And hey, I don't. On the bright side, even if I only get to smuggle a pair of daggers in,
Yeah,
I still can cast Firebolt at will.
true. But you can see Riordan kind of slipping back into his like authoritative kind of this and that to the tailor.
Do this, do that.
Someone
Use his
from a
accent again.
from a position of privilege. He knows how to get what he wants. And it's like he's remembering how it felt, and he's just going through the motions.
Sure.
It's probably something that nobody in the party has ever seen him do before. So, but yeah, fence close. Yay.
With that done and all looking fabulous, though Liam looks very bulky with like the coat over the big plate. It's comical, really.
I think the dwarf looks more bulky than him, stout wise.
Well, I don't think Rumor gets big like shirts. She's in the watch. Probably has a tabard of Torm and of Neverwinter.
Yes.
I have my two new. I have the 2 daggers properly added now. I have my sharp dagger and the pointy dagger.
That is good.
I call this pointy. I call this sharpie.
And both are in your head.
Isn't it great?
Alright. Yes.
You can go to the manor. I mean, Riordan knows where it is because he
Yes.
lived there.
Are you sure it hasn't got nothing moved?
The manor is fairly big, surrounded by a nice like wall around it to keep the plebes out. Beyond that, the business here does deal in magical items, and they do have a mercenary company to keep security, basically. Because when you deal in magical stuff, usually all sorts of evil wizards not try to take it from you. And so you basically go with this strange little company you have to the front of this place where a couple of the Heartspar Guard
Yes.
are actually being watched.
Don't worry, it's perfectly right. We don't have any evil wizards. We
Battle
only have an evil warlock.
It's fine. Riordan will approach.
They look at you and say, "Sir." They like give you a.
He will tip his head and then say, "You know who I am, yes?"
They nodded. Of course, you left this morning. Are we to inform the Lord that you are ready to return?
This morning, huh? Yes. Certainly inform him. I would need to have a talk with him.
One of them nods and says, "Are these your guests?" He looks a little skeptical at the weird group.
Yes, they should be treated as any of my guests should. And do note that if they're not, I will know about it.
They nod as you are led by them. Basically, one of them leading you in while the other one keeps watch still. Into a nice big manor. It is sort of clearly a halfling manor. Like a lot of the things in here are halfling sized, but they clearly also accommodate the height of bigger races, given that a lot of business is done with like medium sized people. You're basically brought into a nice, like, roomy waiting place. There are a lot of white walls and like big paintings and open spaces and soft couches and such. Very clean and just a beautiful place, really. Like open, roomy, lots of bookshelves with old tomes and the like.
Riordan will whisper to Gesh the fact that there is a very large library here.
Well, it probably doesn't have anything about demons, I would assume.
Oh, you'd never know. I haven't really gone through the whole library myself. It's quite big.
He's never reached D for demonology.
No, I'm still on B. It's fine.
Quite frankly, seeing any sort of library would be a welcome change, considering that apparently nobody in the Underdark actually knows what a book is.
Yeah, most of them have bigger things to think about than books.
Roland is just attempting to emulate something Cyrilla taught him, which was basically, well, technically both Cyrilla and Derendil tried to teach him, of like trying to act like noble and like trying to basically almost they tried to teach him like being like noble stuck up.
Yes.
And it's like, well, he's trying to emulate it, it's not working.
Just from looking at Cyrilla the entire time, I'm sure he gets an idea how to position himself.
You know, he's an elf and he already looks stuck up, so it's fine.
I suppose.
I'm a high elf after all, a sun high elf.
Yes.
Hmm. Yeah. After sitting there for a little bit, the guard returns. His lordship is ready to see you. As he then bows and like gestures to the door. After which he goes back to guarding outside.
Thank you. Now the question is, Ridden would certainly like everyone to come with him, but it is a kind of a motley crew to bring in to his father. So he was thinking that perhaps, since Gesh himself wanted to see the library, that maybe one of the guards would kindly escort him there for his purview.
Private library. I mean, there's the other
Yes.
building, which is like the main
There is.
business place, but they certainly have a library here. And if guest needs to go there to look at some stuff, then
Oh, absolutely.
I think it would be a good idea.
sure. So, if anyone else wants to go there, then they can.
Yes. But other than that, he will continue in with everyone in tow, whoever's left.
Yes, Roland, before going in, would have pre-informed Riordan that so he doesn't have to use any physical, so he doesn't have to speak at all while he's in there. He can get away with it.
No, I will certainly handle a lot of that. Don't worry.
Basically, though, for Riordan, Roland basically setting up like a little secret signal to you, basically. That if he's detecting that if Roland detects danger, he's going to like slightly tug on his collar.
That's good.
And if he thinks the person you're talking to is lying, he's going to briefly just kind of like dusting off part of his outfit.
Yeah, and if there's something horribly wrong, or if Iridian discovers that there's something completely wrong with his father, then he'll give a similar signal. He'll probably tug on the back hem of his tabard or something. Very, not violently, but enough to know.
We can set up secret codes.
Yeah, sure.
I'm even trained in thieves' cant. Not useful here, but you know.
You know. All right, yeah, that sounds good to me.
This is a motley crew I'm bringing in. Guess why don't you go to the library?
I wasn't going to say, but
you know, it's slightly less suspicious with Gesh gone.
Yes, an elf and an orc and a dwarf. That's fine.
You know, it's your boy. It's
my two bodyguards and my advisor. My secondary advisor. It's fine.
Big dwarf guy, big orc advisor.
Yes. Well, the dwarf is here on official business, of course.
It's true. You're both here. You're both here to guard and to stop us from blowing stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Officially and mercenary contracted in Liam's case.
I think Fingermuncher would like to stay with the proper group, though, while Gesh goes off into the library.
If Fingermuncher would like, he can borrow my shoulder.
Gesh going or led to a room which is actually fairly big. Like you'd sort of think like a sports hall, basically. Size almost, high dome ceiling. Maybe once into like a ballroom, but now it's full of tall bookcases full of old tomes, most of them clearly handwritten and probably unique. As you look around, it seems that they have dates and different like areas. It seems to be a lot of like travel journals and descriptions of things, such as, describing the Sword Mountains and ecology, like look and the way they sort of are, and the traveling journeys of someone exploring the sea of moving ice, and such things mainly. Beyond that, there are descriptions, of certain of the magic recovered of Netheril in the year so and so and so. Quite an extensive library of things.
Yes.
One of the guards stays and sort of, keeps an eye on if Gesh steals it.
It's your paradise. Yay.
He'll dig around in there.
Yep.
Most of you are taken for his lordship.
Yes.
Imagine there's more stuff in this room.
Yes. Oh, he looks beautiful.
As you enter the room, your guards are standing around. There's like a fancy globe, like a fish tank, that sort of thing.
Yes.
A big fern. As Riordan's father, the old Lord Radner, is sitting by his massive desk with like stacks of papers, writing down some things and looking important, really, and portly.
Yes.
Yeah. A little glass of sherry.
As they enter, Riordan will step a bit more forward than his companions and just say...
Yeah, he looks up at Riordan, then his eyes goes to the people behind him, then looks to Riordan with a puzzled, questioning look. He says, More guests, Riordan? I thought you had brought the last of them already. What? She smiles, shakes his head and says, I suppose we can have room for more. She takes to a stack of papers and digs into it, trying to find some form or other to fill out.
Yes.
He shakes his head slightly.
I'm sure we can talk about that in due time. However, as you can see, I have returned. Seemingly not a surprise to you.
This is a little early, I suppose, but
A little
I
early.
presume everything was fine. Yes.
And how long have you presumed that I have been gone?
Just since this morning.
Well, that's a bit confusing because, from my perspective, I have been gone for quite a long time.
So you quite all right, my son.
And
Furrows his brow and takes a pair of small glasses up.
Rin is certainly quite suspicious now, as he says, you recall that I left, say, almost a year ago, with the intent of,
He
investigating.
begins to look surprised.
Um, with the intention of investigating Galleon's, untimely demise. But it seems to have escaped your notice, for I have been kidnapped by the Drow and kept in the Underdark for almost a year. But it seems that perhaps you may have been deceived since then.
He frowns, looking distraught as he quickly takes his bottle of sherry and fills up a glass and then downs it,
Yes.
or looking at you.
Does he seem like he's genuinely surprised to us?
Do a test.
A 16.
He looks upset right now.
Upset.
Yeah, upset.
And he'll continue. He's
So,
like, oh, he's gone.
I suppose you want an explanation then.
I certainly
Shuffles
would.
a bit, rubs his small halfling fingers together.
We've never certainly seen eye to eye, but this is certainly the time to put aside these petty
You
squabbles.
are not, then, my son, Riordan Spock.
I certainly am, in fact.
You are, perhaps, or was once, son, but you abandoned your family. You left to go traveling and gallivanting around, doing no good for no purpose, and disregarding my wishes for your future, our family's future. Had you returned earlier, faster, had you gone over this phase a little quicker, I might have been able to do something myself. But the plans that were set in motion could not stop because you acted like a child. Seemingly both upset and a little bit like angry and also somewhat grieving. He says it. I had to take some steps, my son, and well, sufficient to say that you have been replaced. Now, looking upon you hurts my old heart, and unless you delight in your old father's pain, I would suggest you take your leave and, well, if you would do so as well, find a new name.
There, after hearing all of this, is vitriol poured over him.
You will notice that
Back,
Liam
drinks another glass.
is shifting
Yeah.
in the back.
You will see that although he doesn't say anything for a moment, he has clenched his fists, and his entire hand, pale as it is, has gone even whiter. But his voice comes out very controlled, but he is almost furious as he says, "So, you have not even listened to me. You've replaced me, and now you disgrace me and exile me from your house? Without any prior explanation. Would you like me to tell you of what happened to me the year that I was gone?" Would that maybe ease the fact that you have been lying to yourself for the past year?
I drinks a little bit more. Says you shouldn't speak to me. Riordan, the real Riordan, is going to be married soon. Having you around could complicate things. If you wish an explanation, go go to the library, the, the barracks. You can find them there. Sort of, his hand shakes as he again like tries to pour more up in his glass, but then looks and sees that there is nothing more. As he, sighs deeply and says, I think I need to lie down."
Yes, that might be wise. Perhaps it would be even better if you didn't get back up again. As Ridden basically turns his heel and walks right out in abject anger. He is incredibly
Gestures for a
furious right
guard. Help me. I need to. As Riordan is allowed to leave easily
Yes.
enough.
Um, and you will notice that he's not stopped. He is making an absolute beeline for this library right
I
now.
think I'm much telepathically keeping Gesh, informed.
Liam may have come to realize by watching kind of Roland's eye glance that he was totally prepared if it was called for to teleport onto the table right in front of him.
Oh yeah, no, Liam was ready to just go. Especially when he said it might be best for you not to get up again. Like Liam was like half drawing his sword at that point.
But no,
But apparently,
no political assassinations today. No kinslaying.
it's the damn paladin's fault.
Oh,
That's
no
why he's here.
kinslaying,
Right.
but
Moral
certainly,
compass.
certainly doppelganger slaying.
We
it
need
seems.
to take care of the paladin. No witnesses.
You could try.
I like the idea that when you say no witnesses, you look around like, where's Roland gone?
He's just gone.
Yeah. Does Gesh want to stay in the library, or does he want to follow the party out?
I mean,
I
Guess-
thought Riordan
Gesh
said
is
that he was
in a
making
very-
a beeline to the library.
Yeah,
Okay, we're
he's.
going to Gesh.
Oh, Riordan's coming. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get you, and then he's gonna go straight to.
Feature imposter.
Yes,
How many guards are there in the library?
there is quite a
One
lot.
standing
Oh,
on it.
one?
Just one.
In the
I mean,
library.
this is the personal library. It's not the like the business side of
Yes.
the house.
What are you
This
gonna
is a
steal?
lot of like family literature.
I mean, I give you express meta permission to steal whatever you want.
Well, Gesh, of course, knows what happened because of Fingermanship, so he's in a very mischievous mood. He would like to try to cast Suggestion on the guard.
oh,
All right, what are you suggesting?
To make the library really, really messy. Just dirt everywhere, books scattered about, just an absolute chaos.
hmm.
All right,
It's a personal
use
one,
your
so
spell.
DC 16 Wisdom.
all right.
I don't think it's a success.
It
You
seems
have just
reasonable.
murdered a guard.
He'll sort of look around, take off his boot, and begin taking some of the grime out of the wall and just begin smearing it on the door.
No concentration for up to 8 hours.
Yeah,
It's
Now,
just-
Riordan, let's leave.
out with me, now. So supposedly your brother is there too, the same place. Is that what I've?
Not the same place, no.
No.
The Hall of Knowledge is a different place. It's a place that
okay.
got ruined completely.
Sure.
Allegedly, they are trying to excavate it and clean it up to make it a mage school.
Yes. On the way, Rin doesn't say much, but he will look at Liam very pointedly and point at his sword, and nod. he feels that this is going to be a bit of a confrontation. So
All right, sure. Liam will, get ready, get ready to rumble.
Ronan will recite in his mind the incantation for firebolt. He feels like he's going to need it.
yes. All right.
Yeah, getting to the place is certainly easy enough, and it's a fairly open place. There's of course lots of the house guard around, given that these are the guys who generally keep watch over the caravans and such whenever they go, and as Riordan sort of comes walking close, they all like look and then look again and then seem confused as from behind them, speaking to them, saying, "Oh, it would be great if we could raise efficiency a little bit. I do so like when the numbers go up." Uh, Comes someone else walking through the guard who stops in his tracks when he sees Riordan.
Oh, hello there. It's nice to meet me here.
Sort of looks at Riordan, looks at the guards behind him, gets a little more brave. He looks back at Riordan, says, "I didn't think you would be here.
I
Does
didn't think
your
you were being
does
here either.
father know?"
I have just talked with him.
"Oh,
He said to come talk to you. That is, I have no idea who you are, but I'm sure
I
that you'd
am
explain that to me.
Riordan Hartsback. That is my name
A
that I
name, yes,
bear."
but it is more than a name. It's more of a person, and you are certainly not me in any sense of the word.
It is a legacy that I've been entrusted with by my father to keep the family going. Without Gillian and without me, the family's assets would revert to the crown, to the city, and there likely be squandered in repairing hovels and roads and the like. Father could not bear it. After mother's demise and my temporary insanity in disappearing to Luskan, me and my fiance are going to repair this house.
Mind telling me about this temporary insanity that you have so woefully suffered from?
Yes, about a year ago, a little more perhaps, I left to search uh, for a murderer. He was a little nervous. I went to Luskin, where well, spent some time drinking and confronting my inner lack of self worth that led me to pursue these pointless endeavors. Not slightly.
Yes.
I there also met the woman that I am set to marry, Lady Emiria Sebastine. A wealthy woman. The union of our families will secure our position for years to come.
That certainly sounds like Father's will.
And says, "Yes, yes, father is very important to us, to
He
me."
is. For to have replaced me with someone who is most certainly an imposter is something I would not have thought him to do. But apparently he has been gripped with the same madness that apparently you have.
And says, "I look. This is what's best." He looks at you, being frank here for a moment as he looks to the guards and says, "We all know this is for the best. This is what you wanted. Father has made you free. You can go and gallivant all you want. I will deal with the family legacy."
I mean, no more family obligation certainly seems like a pretty decent deal. We seem free to do other things.
Gesh. Gesh is going to receive a subtle back hit. Roll.
From behind the group of guards, another voice comes out. "My love, what's wrong?" as another halfling will come out. A woman, sturdy, a little bulky, uh, coming out, walking, adventuring garb almost. She comes out looking at all of you, looking to Riordan Hartspark, and then like giving him a sort of an apologetic smile and says, "Oh, you poor thing." To Riordan, Riordan, and says, "Love, perhaps you should go inside. Let me speak here a little bit. I think I can help clear things up." As, as the Riordan by the guards uh, gives a slight nod and says, "Of course, love, always." As he walks back in
You could just see
building.
a look of absolute disgust wash over Reardon's face as he looks at this exchange.
Lady Sebastine steps up and sort of looks at Riordan, shaking her head slightly, and says, "Do you think, sir, you have an uncanny look to my fiance, but do you think we could speak privately for a moment?"
And by privately, you mean no guards?
Says,
Hopefully.
"Yes, for either of us. I don't think any of us need to fear the other."
That is unusual because returning from a year, I'm confronted with someone who is most certainly my imposter, exiled from my own house by my father, and now you're telling me that I have nothing to fear.
She raises up her finger and says, "Just let me come over here." "Could you give us a little privacy?" Like the guard, like, get away. Looking at your like friends there, like,
Liam is glaring at her and says, "Where we come from, privacy is not safety."
She gives you a slight smile and says, "Don't worry, you have my word."
I really don't care for your word. That's the
Reardon
problem.
will hold up his hand. I will go, but do not hesitate, Liam.
Liam looks back. Remember what happened to the Deep King?
Gladly, I do.
Hard
Have a
smart guards so stand here, their battle flutes and shield.
I will, unless Riordan goes more than 120 feet away, I'll maintain a message with him so he can shout if there's, no matter what,
Sure.
we'll hear him.
Sure.
You sort of get close enough that you can sort of speak quietly without too many people overhearing us. She looks at Riordan, shakes her head, and says, "We thought you were dead."
I wasn't dead, I was kidnapped. I was sent to the Underdark for almost a year. With my companions, I have fought my way out, only to return to this welcome, as you would say.
You must understand that without you, things had to go on, right? Oh, yes. She will, for a moment, just drop the illusion, her face warping and twisting, turning into a woman you recognize
Oh,
as your aunt, Augustina Hartsburg.
La gasp!
As she looks at you and says, "Maybe this is less traumatic to speak to."
Bromwell stops singing.
It's just
Very-
doppelgangers everywhere. We need to.
Reardon just like his face just like reddens for a moment. He feels like he has this incessant need to just basically unleash himself upon her, but he will hold himself back and then say, "I certainly require an explanation right now."
Yes. Yes, I imagine you do. Well, you see, you disappeared. Your mother passed away soon after. A terrible disease, very rapidly. Your father, he was not himself. He was going to die, Rior. He had to have some hope left, some spark in his life. He thought the family business would end with him. I I'm the one who worked out this plan. I figured that if we could place someone in your stead and just say that you had went to Luskin and come back, a changed man, then I, in this guise, would marry, and our children would be of the Hastrak blood while still maintaining the family fortune. And, well, things could go on as they always have. We do good work for the city, you know. We didn't know that you were alive. We looked for you a bit, but there was very few leads. You always were adventurous. Thought if you were alive, then you surely would have come back. And if you weren't coming back, then, well, you might as well be dead.
I'm certainly aware that
If you've
probably
come back for money, then I'm sure there's something we can do.
I have not come back for money. I've come back for my father. And certainly not for you, and certainly not for someone that looks like me.
What do you want with old Wagner? My brother is the oldest of us, but he has always been a shrewd man.
Indeed. All I wanted really was some answers. You knew why I left in the first place, correct?
She nods slowly. Yes, the incident.
Yes, the incident. Or the accident, as my father would like to call it most of the time.
It
You
helps
see,
him sleep at night. Riordan, don't take that away from him.
if I had told you what had happened to me, you would not sleep for the rest of your life. However, that is not important right now.
She nods. You're right, it is not important right now. The
No,
answers you seek, I have been looking into this as well. I've been doing most of the day-to-day business now since your disappearance. You almost killed your father. He always believed that there was an accountant in you. You, well, you disappointed him.
well, it seems that that does not matter now. So,
Yes, I have fixed things.
yes, fix things. Would you mind telling me exactly what you've done to have magicked up someone that is so similar in likeness to me, but is wholly different?
His real name is Nessid Dorrigan. He is a smuggler, well, was a smuggler from Luskan. He has some business interests and is fleeing his old life. This is a chance at starting something new. I rather like him. This
Surely you
seemed to
do.
be a positive arrangement for everyone involved.
Of course, grieving wasn't part of the plan, but. So what now? I just leave, you forget about me, forget that I ever exist, and lead your happy lives?
That would be the optimal solution. I'm sure you have your own things going on after all this time. If you've returned for answers, though, for Galian can tell you nothing more than I'm sure you already found out. The man you seek, the man who ordered his death, is not here. He's gone far away.
Far away.
I know some people in the Black Network, and they have assured me that he is not returning. In fact, he has gone below to the Underdark.
I suppose it would surprise you then that that is from where I have returned.
Slightly. Yes, I am not quite sure. I can believe you, but I will give you the. To be honest, if you followed him that far, then you know much more than anyone here does. The whole. The murder, it is behind us. Now, we have moved on.
You certainly have, and quite quickly so. You've cast away me like a broken doll very quickly. I'm actually amazed and would commend you at your callousness.
You know how difficult it's been to keep things going. With with the heirs to our family disappearing one by one rapidly, we could have lost everything. We would have been on the street. Do you see the father on the street? After all he's done for you.
Yes, although you should, continue have him living his lie until his death. I'm sure he would be happy. But isn't that something that tears away at you?
She shrugs and says, frankly, I look at the consequences of my actions, and I see that things are better now than they have been in a long time. You returning here, well, he might not be long for this world anymore. If this gets to his head, I'll make sure he takes his medicine, but beyond that, there's not much I can do. You should have come to me first, though. I suppose I can't blame you for not knowing.
No, certainly. I don't think you can blame me for anything, really. But yes, my father's condition, I suppose, is probably uh, manifested itself as you came into the picture, correct?
She frowns slightly and says, after you left, without your mother, he was alone. He tried to reach out to his family, but as you know, Gillian's father died when he was young. I was the only person left.
And
I
so
answered,
this,
and I've been taking care of his business, though that really hasn't been my strong suit. Things are going well now, and, well, things are finally beginning to look up. I really wish that you will not ruin this for all of us. We employ 100 people. Their jobs are reliant upon our success.
Britain will give her a smile and say,
You never wanted this anyway. Why do you care so much? I understand that it's a bit of a shock, but honestly, act like a man. Say me what you want. You want money?
I do not know what I want anymore. My name is gone. I do not have my family anymore. I do not wish to have my family anymore.
Leontes. Well, there's some of us that do. So please leave it to us. In fact, I can see to your lodging and such for your stay in the city, but I would prefer if you were gone within a month. The wedding is coming up, and, well, you will be a much bigger persona at that point. A lot of people will notice there too. It just won't do. After that, we're going on a honeymoon for a few years to Luskin. Whatever changes that come after will, well, that will make sure that you look different enough that people won't confuse you anymore.
It seems that all the color of Anchor has just faded away, and he looks quite defeated. Um, this is something that he can't maneuver by himself, and this is something that is way bigger than he can handle. Um, so he will tell her that as long as she settles that part as she has said, then he will leave, as she has requested.
She relaxes visibly as he says that. Thank you.
However, do not think that I think you a good person. You are the most vilest
Riordan,
person that I have ever
Riordan,
met. And I will not hear any other argument from you or
you,
pacification.
I take it, are an adventurer, she says as she looks back. I once had dreams of the same. We grew up learning the same stories.
Yes, we did. Although, as you said,
I
I'm
have
now.
grown up, but you haven't, and I think I envy you, part of you, at least. Riordan. You are free to leave this family and go out there. She sort of gestures out towards the wall to see the world. I don't want you to squander that business. I understand that you might hate me for the choices I've made, but I don't want you to go here empty-handed. We thought you were dead. There are many things in the vault that, well, frankly, that are not used by us now that might be of use to you. Your grandfather's thing.
Yes.
I might be able to, well, some of them are going to be sold off as the dowry is going to be quite substantial for the wedding. Some of them might just find their way to you as compensation for
For giving up
and
my
work,
entire
perhaps.
livelihood. I understand.
Because sadly, we cannot officially pay anyone for that.
No, no, of course. The proper channels can't be used. I understand. As is fine.
There's
As you said, I am an adventurer now.
There is some work that an adventurer could do that would greatly ease your father's burdens. The city is plagued by a lot of criminal types, and, well, these resources could be yours were to take care of it for us.
He doesn't really like this
It
entire
is
extortion of his being, but he
it
will.
is your grandfather's instrument, his lyre. It could be
Yes.
yours, Riordan, if you could help us with a little problem, just so we have something to put on the official papers.
He will give a sigh and just sag. You will just visibly see him like shorten himself a few inches as he slouches and says, "Yes, yes, I assure we have proper lodgings and tell us what we must do, and we will see to it."
Just very well. I shall do that. There is a place that takes out where traveling nobles can stay, near Castle Never. I will see that you are given a rightful place there, and I will have sent the address. They are criminal types, unwanted really, but I would need you to kill them. They are smugglers, and the evidence of their own wrongdoing is quite there. Just go there and provoke them. They will attack you first if need be.
Yes, I'm sure they will. It was, wouldn't say nice talking to you, but there is nothing to be done. If you
Yes.
shall see me again, then you need not address me as someone that you once knew.
Thank you. If you would inform us of your new name so we can put it on the deed when the item is delivered. After the deed is done, then we shall see to it.
It's fine. I'll send you a message when I know myself.
I hope you have a good life, Rior.
Sure. I will walk back to the party. And
We'll give a slight smile as she turns and walks back to her beloved.
it's a bit shell-shocked, really.
So, what does the Viper want to say in her defense?
Grin will just shake his head and give a smile, assuredly very fake, and say, "It doesn't matter. We have some stuff to do. My grandfather's belongings to recover, but there is some stuff we must do first."
What do you mean recover? They're yours.
You see, nobles, they can be quite fickle when they want to be. Thankfully, I'm not one of them, but dealing with them can be quite prickly.
Liam looks at Riordan and says, "You're the heir to this house."
Not anymore.
Looks back. What do you mean?
Well, basically, he'll give a rehash of what she has said to him, and we'll end it with he's never really accepted me as someone who's part of the house, and this mostly feels like this should have been the way it has been all along.
Liam crosses his arms, drums with his fingers on his armor, and says, "I'm absolutely sure that you will want to solve it this way. We can still take this."
Yes, take it we could. But could you take the whole city?
It's you're the rightful heir. Before a court, you would have right.
I would, but it's a pretty hard case to make when papers can be certainly falsified.
Which is why we take care of the people who would falsify them.
And let me tell you a thing about falsified papers. Two can play that game.
Yes. No.
Give
Yeah,
me the word, Riordan, and I will take care of that woman.
He'll shake his head and then say, "I have more important things to do now. Let us go."
Gash glares at the dwarf.
No, Liam ignores him completely. This is Are you?
He places a hand on Riordan's shoulder, kind of catches attention to look at towards him, and it's going to give Riordan a very subtle, well, an unsubtle look, because Roland's not very good at subtlety sometimes when it comes to his own expression. But Riordan would definitely recognise this, though, that Roland wants to talk with you later in private.
It will not. He will turn to Brumor and say that there are lodgings that will be prepared, so that we should be led there, basically, to get our bearings and settle down.
Let me tell you
Brumo will
this.
certainly know the place, like where the traveling nobles go when they come here to visit.
Yes.
Let me tell you this, Riordan. I respect your choice in this, and it's your choice to make. I do believe you're making the wrong one.
That's perfectly fine, Liam.
Yes, quite frankly, I don't
Gash.
respect your.
I
He'll
would
shut
rather
up.
not hear anything from you. Not right now.
He'll actually shut up.
Yes. Good. It's certainly clear he's not quite rational right now. But we'll see how he feels later. He's still processing what's just happened. Really, he's trying to dismiss everything in his head.
Certainly, I imagine very much it's kind of Roland. As kind of Roland came back, Roland kind of constantly kind of clicking its insight on you, and every few moments to kind of immediately saw the difference.
Yeah, it's a very visible change. It's like the whole
Liam-
world has been pulled under his feet. For
Liam
a few
will
moments.
lean over to Roland and whisper, maybe you should scout ways in and out of this place in case we need to come back.
Later, perhaps.
There might be a spot for a new guard open very soon.
I did notice there were some windows in the office as well.
We can look into it later.
Yes, might be a sharp blade that needs to go into some necks. He looks around,
No, I
distaste on his face.
think the first thing is to get something away from your neck. And he kind of tugs at a bit of your like fancy fluffer, the fancy kind of a bit of clothing around your neck.
Liam will thankfully rip that off himself.
Yes.
Well, perhaps we can distract Riordan from his dysfunctional family by visiting mine.
Oh, great! He rolls his eyes upwards.
Is there a medieval equivalent of popcorn we can be eating for this?
Gods give you strength. Of course, Gesh. Let's go and meet your brother, was it?
Yes, my brother.
Are we gonna expect a similar welcome?
I'm not exactly sure what to expect. I don't think I'll have been replaced.
How about just in case, give me a few minutes to armor myself up again.
Oh, by the way, just pointing it out that we actually have Brumor as a witness to all of this crap. He has certainly seen and heard all of it, and
Oh, yeah.
he's a paladin of Torm. If he stood up in court and swore that this was the truth, they would believe him.
Yeah.
He's literally incapable of lying in such a setting.
Yes. It is a fairly good witness to have, especially
Yeah.
when this escalates to
Not to mention,
you
I
are?
can memorize Zone of Truth.
Are you, sir, lying? No. Well, he didn't get smited by his god, so he's telling the truth.
This is why people like Brumor is sent with every adventuring party into the city.
Yeah,
To,
can't
to
cause
make
shit.
sure that if they try to bullshit some stupid story about why they killed the farmer and stole all his carrots, that they have someone who can either verify it or condemn them.
yes.
He can
They have a lot
also.
of adventurers.
Bruma can also be a witness that Gash did not, in fact, wreck the library.
Because he wasn't there. Oh gosh, how wonderful.
It's true. It's true. At the time of the wrecking, Gesh was not currently present.
Yes.
Because technically, right now, would Gesh still be concentrating on that spell?
No, not at this
No.
point.
Okay, it's an 8-hour concentration. He could keep doing it.
The next 8 hours. Yeah, so you guess we're just to go to the Hall of Knowledge then?
I
So we wish to
mean,
go to the fancy noble stay place? Like where's the party off to?
what do we want to do?
Tell me and I shall deliver directions. I know good inns, taverns, armorers.
You know what? I
smiths.
really don't mind making my brother wait.
So, fancy noble place?
Sure. I mean, I don't mind.
Team shrugs.
Somewhere else.
He's just along for the ride now.
I mean, if you just want to go and sit in a fancy noble tavern, then sure.
You can certainly go there. The building is fairly big, very nice. Like there's like carpet on the outside too that you could walk on. It's just a very fancy big sort of inn.
Yes.
Beautiful curtains, probably mostly stocked in wine and other expensive things. Lots of fancy customers. And as you sort of go into the building, um, you know, who's leading ahead? Like,
I imagine Brummel is guiding the way.
yeah, it's probably not the kind of place that he goes, though he might get a salary high enough to actually be here. A lot of traveling nobles, a lot of people from Waterdeep come here to do business and such. As the party sort of goes in, doesn't look like there's a lot of adventurers in here, to be sure. Like a beautiful young elf man comes over and asks you if you want accommodations, or it's the young Riordan, the young lord. Of course, we have heard that you are to be taken in. Not allowed to see the bride before the wedding. Congratulations, sir. It is quite the match.
Yes, thanks.
As you will just steer you towards your rooms. As you go, though, you hear a voice from behind you by one of the tables saying, "Gesh."
Uh-oh.
Yes.
It was
Brummel just
inevitable.
Brummel just rubs his hands together. Oh, this is just getting better.
As you look over, you see a big purple furry coat. In it, a dragonborn.
Yes.
Looking at Gesh with big eyes, holding his cane that's sort of on the table while drinking a fancy, very tiny glass of wine. Just,
Oh my god.
my God, son, it's been too long. Come over here and give your father a hug. He says.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
He looks.
Look at him.
Oh, he's amazing.
So fat.
Malachi, we need
stands
a
up.
full picture.
Oh no, you can get the full picture. Scroll over,
It is.
or display in full.
It is too good not to have.
Where
the full
did you
picture of
find this picture? I am amazed that you're...
Gesh to come over. Come here, son.
I do kind of want the picture set in the chat so I can edit it and add stuff on.
I will have to write your mother about this.
Hello, father. Fancy
I knew
meeting you
we'd
here.
find you here. Everyone runs away to Neverwinter, isn't that the story? What are you looking like? He looks at Gesh, aghast that Gesh is not wearing his fancy noble robe and twirly shoes.
It's
Always the rebel. When you ran away, I said to your mother, I said, he will be back before the end of the year, as usual. No, you showed me.
I sure did, yes. Although it's sort of a long story that's best told in.
I had to give up horse racing for a week.
Oh, terrible.
Anyway, son, come sit down. Have some wine. He sort of looks to the people behind him, just sort of frowns slightly and looks at them. So, these, son, you haven't become an adventurer, have you?
I was kidnapped by Drow, and these people accompanied me back to the surface.
Oh, good.
So yes, I have.
Oh my god.
Oh, I told your brother. I told him it is a phase. Yes, he's here. He will be excited to see you. He's been more worried than any of us.
I'm
Doing
sure.
important work for the town. Lord Neverember himself requested his presence. Very important job restoring the Hall of Knowledge.
Very important, yes. Very.
What have you been up to, Gish? I mean, now that you're back, of course, I'm sure you can help in some capacity. That was quiets down a little as he thinks of something. You did leave at rather awkward circumstances, but you know magic. None of us knew. Perhaps now you could help your brother with some papers, or organize his spell books and such. He's ever so talented. He even has a student now. I would let you know. Yes,
Could
you
I-
believe it?
Could
A
I
single
perhaps
one.
get a single word in this conversation? Thank you very much.
Frowns.
I will not help my brother. I have much, much more important things to do.
He sighs slightly, looking to the rest of you, saying, "So you are Gesh's friends.
Brimwell
They are
shakes his
not
head.
my.
Good to see that he has made friends. I do apologize if he can be a bit much sometimes.
Liam nods
Always was
emphatically.
difficult as a child.
This is the time to get payback on all those snipes. That Gesh has
Oh,
done.
it's been absolutely dreadful,
Oh.
my lord. But somehow we have managed to carry him
Please,
to the
please
surface.
Wilfred, put more chairs. My son is back, and his friends, and much to talk about.
I will sit right beside
Have you
him.
met his brother yet?
No,
Yes,
but here is an
that's
awesome
man.
character.
He has met with Lord Neverham, but multiple times. I would have you know, came all the way here from Waterdeep on request.
He seems very important.
Yes, he also will likely sort of not open to talk about, but there is some talk of marrying up. You see, a noble family from the south is they are working out things well together, and I can only imagine soon to be a grandfather. What do
Wow.
you think,
Yes.
Gesha? Sort of looks to the group of you, trying to look for other dragon. You met someone, Gesha. I would like more than one set of grandchildren someday.
We're
Gotta hurry then, because he's getting a bit old.
Yes. Has he noticed?
Your
this
mother
unfairness?
can't stop talking about it.
Can he even have kids at this age? I don't know.
You know.
Since he's a guy, maybe.
Gash just gives you this look, perhaps momentarily forgetting that he could just talk to you telepathically. But the look that basically says, I will remember every word you say here.
That's fine because we have remembered every word you have said
Yeah,
before this.
You know, that kind of look almost makes Roland grin here, that knowing that he can say anything now.
So tell us more about Gesh's important brother and the work he's doing.
Well, he is repairing the Hall of Knowledge. You see, many tomes there are too difficult. An old dialect of Draconic that Desta has read up and is a foremost expert in. He is doing work that only he can
found it.
really accomplish. He, of course, has been requested at many universities around the realms,
Oh, of course.
as far as the Sea of Fallen Stars, but
Oh, goodness.
but he chose to go here because this is where he thought he could do the most good. He is such an idealist, that young boy. Like Gesh here, but, well, it looks together just slightly different, I suppose, anyway. You're a good boy, I guess. You came back
I
to
love
father.
him. I love him so much. I want
love
him to
him.
be my father.
He's great. He's great. He's the best character in the campaign so far.
Yeah.
Can I
love
just
him.
join your noble family?
Yes.
Please?
Let's switch places.
Adopt.
Adopt me.
Remind me, Gesh, what was your
So what
background?
has Gesh been up to? He never is willing to talk much and without metaphors and all the fancy words he goes to learn with the youth.
Yes, perhaps
He's been very mischievous, as you know.
perhaps my companions could explain in detail what I've been up to, and perhaps that will also tell my father what important business I mean. Such as, I don't know, saving the world from inevitable demon invasions? That will be good.
Gesh,
We're will just like laugh and like slap like Liam on the shoulder and like say, "Oh, he makes such good jokes."
Son, if you picked more tangible goals, you would get there. I know you've always been for big things, but your friends, I mean,
He's quite the
Surely
ambitious.
you've not been filling their heads with some sort of fairy tale now, have you?
He's quite the ambitious type, and an avid reader.
Yeah, there's a lot of metaphors. It's true.
Interesting. Has my guest found any girls around? Or any sign of grandchildren? He wouldn't talk to his old father about that, I know, but he never tells me anything.
He's certainly looking. Don't worry.
Oh, Father, one more word about grandchildren, and I will walk out this inn.
He frowned slightly. Shrugs his own.
Liam will mouth to him and says that he's very shy.
That's why we're helping him out. We're 3 wingmen for him.
Yeah. We're getting this done. Don't you worry.
He kind of starts talking nonsense after a while.
Don't you worry, Dad. We're fixing this.
No, slightly.
He gets nervous and then he starts talking
So
weird
you're
stuff.
adventurous, then, he says. Sort of a little bit of letting the word hang there a little bit.
Liam.
We have some of those at home as well. Hope you're not up to too much trouble. I don't think my boy could do jail time.
He's too pretty.
I love Tina's in the background laughing at this. I love it.
Don't worry. We don't get up to much.
No, it's been a few bar crawls, but nothing.
Nothing that would endanger your son's reputation.
No demons or anything. No.
Mental health.
Nothing of the sort.
Like, says, good. You see. It always has been a little strange because of it. He sort of looks at Gesh and says, so you're staying here then? The young Lord Heartspark, is it? I was told congratulations. In fact, our banking is the one handling the dowry papers, so I know a little bit about what's going on.
Oh, really? You do?
Of course he's a banker. Look at him.
Rian will say, maybe
You don't
we
get
should,
that fat on no bank money.
catch up a bit on the details.
I can't, of course, talk of business, but I'm glad to know you stay with me. Do any of you play cards, perhaps?
Oh, certainly.
I'm willing to learn such a game. Horses was always my favorite, but there's none to come around here.
I could introduce you into quite a few. I'm sure Gesh would love to join in as well.
No, I would not.
Gesh has always been.
Oh, he never was a boy for games. He always had the world to save or something akin to that. Don't you, boy? Oh, he has a good heart.
He's wonderful.
Yes, Roland is just going to proceed here to sleight of hand suddenly just place his hand on the table and make his own pack of cards appear.
Oh, he smashed like this. You should see Desta when he really gets going. He can do amazing things, that boy. Do you remember that time, Gesh? Your birthday?
Yes.
He says, because that was a good time.
Oh man, I'm my voice hurts now.
I would send for him, but he's doing very important work and is not to be disturbed, even for this, I think. He will be home later, though. Probably late. I suppose you're staying for a while, though. Yeah.
Well, as short a time as I can get away with.
We would love to stay.
Yes, your company is very grand.
Excellent. There are several shows in town. I've seen the ones that are there, but I can show you around.
Of course there is.
Yes. It is party time with Gestad and
this is my life dream. Right here.
yeah.
Listen, Ammo, you guys have to tell Sarira about this. She must know.
Oh, don't worry. Because remember, Roland in intrinsic detail writes down everything that happens.
Yes.
Have you ever been to Castle Never? It looks to Brumar. Good Sir Brumar here can surely assure you that it is quite the sight. It has been a long history behind it.
It's
Brumar
very
nuts.
grand, yes.
I took a tour, but I never got to see the upper levels. Pulling the right strings, though, I'm sure we could arrange something, if that would be to your interest.
It certainly would.
Yes, what do you think about that? Would that be something?
Yes, Gesh. I think
Yes,
Gesh would be
remember,
very
they
interested in that.
say that there was ghosts in there at one point. Maybe still some are there.
Grin gives him a pointed look and nods furiously. Like, yes, we need to get there.
Well, if my friends here would like to see and do whatever it is you suggest, then sure. Although I've been thinking perhaps you're not entirely wrong. Perhaps I should help my brother in the library.
Not so sure. Yes, sir. He would appreciate it. You know, he's been teaching his student quite a lot. You surprised us all very much with your trick before you left. So I'm sure he could teach you a few things too, since you have some aptitude.
Oh,
Oh
I'm sure,
man.
the shade.
I'm sure such lessons would be a great help.
Yes.
He is quite the mage, after all. Yeah, he takes after his mother in that way.
Yes, Gesh talks very much about him, I've heard.
He looks to Gesh, surprises. Oh, well, Desta always tried to get along, but, well, I'm glad to see Gesh has so many friends. If you wish to go see him, he is at the Hall of Knowledge. There are many places there that need cleaning out, and, as it were, so many hands can only cast so many spells per day. It's taking a long time, though. They say there's a whole level of crypts under this place. You believe it? This city has so many secrets.
I'm sure it has.
Nods and drinks some wine. Says, please. It's on me.
I think I need something stronger.
This is Silvery Moon wine, Gesh. Don't be uncultured in front of your friends. Sort of looks to you and says, he will have the wine. He says to this.
Of course he will. As Roland was a quick action, mage handed him a glass. To be full.
Oh boy.
He brings the wine. It's very fancy. The servant leans, holds it correctly, and then pours it a little bit first for you to smell, and then, you know.
Liam looks at it. Great suspicion.
I imagine this is quite a treat. Cost a fortune. Could buy several battalions of armed men for that, but well, some things in life are there to be enjoyed.
Here.
Can Cirilla buy like
Raises
a small?
Raises his glass and says, "To family."
Oh yeah.
Oh
boy.
I don't think Riordan is too happy with trying to do that right now.
And in fairness, Roland's also going to kind of look to Riordan of, apparently it's not the best thing for us to go close to.
Like, you know, when you like pull at your collar, like, no.
Pull a danger signal to you.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, he pulled the collars, and now Liam will attack. That was a signal.
No. There's the hammer. We forgot. Pretty sure Gesh would not mind.
Gesh will be the most fine with it. It's like,
The Lord will also introduce himself as Nugri Olk or Fistalagia.
of course.
And you know, say that you can just call him Lord Nook, because frankly his parents did not pay as much attention when naming him as he did with Gesh and Destar. Draconic names is not something most people find very suitable to the tongue.
You are a very considerable man.
Oh, in more ways than one.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Well,
He is a considerably rotund man, though.
yes,
he's very generous.
he's very generous. Also, I think I said considerable. I meant to say considerate, but my brain stopped, so that's fine. Same thing, I'm sure.
Gesh will just sip the wine quietly.
For as long as you stay, he'll be happy to talk about Gesh's childhood. Mainly how
Oh,
Gesh always
yes.
got into trouble that his brother had to pull him out. And, the geese were magical, and they were talking to him and telling him things about how they were going to fly off with the world. Gesh saved it, allegedly, but the barn never was the same.
Wow.
Roland for some time is going to be using a combination of insight on Gesh to see where Gesh is getting uncomfortable and asking questions onto him.
Further drive the point where Gesh is like, I can't stop stop this.
Uh,
That's great.
he's,
Being an insight magnet can be very useful.
what a wonderful father you have, Gash.
Yes, your family is certainly much more well, better in everything than mine, that's for sure.
The good Lord
First impressions.
will also say that that Gesh, of course, will come home with him when you're done here. His mother has been worried sick. Can't believe that you would do such a thing to her, Gesh.
Should be
Leaving like
mother.
that, it was most inconsiderate and ignoble of you.
Oh,
She
good
will have to
heavens.
apologize, and, well, you know her when she's angry.
She breathes fire.
Raging dragon is certainly not too
I mean,
much
I
to say.
don't know what colour she is. So.
She always was the ferocious one, huh?
Okay, red.
Yes, as he sort of nods to himself slightly. But I don't bear that sort of ill will. Guess you will get an earful, sure, but you've had that before. It's
Oh yes, plenty of times.
she will calm down as soon as she sees you, I'm sure. We'll need to put you in some proper clothes, though. Not that I think they can have them in this town.
I heard that purple and frills are all the rage.
Yeah, look at him. He's amazing. He's the epitome of noble life. How would you not, admire that?
How can
We
I
also
not?
invite you all to the Neverwinter Opera the next day, should you so.
Oh boy.
He has been, but he says it is, of course, nothing compared to back home in Waterdeep. But it is fun to see their colloquial attempts
Oh, yes.
at a culture of nobility, and it certainly has a certain aroma of the primitive things in life. You know, you can really sort of feel the barnyard sort of effect of the city in that respect.
Uh-huh. This
That's a
sounds
standing
lovely.
offer.
Yeah, I don't know how we could say no.
It's easy.
Well, I know how Roland will say no, which is just something disappearing while you're at the opera house.
Which you'll probably have to do anyway.
It is 4 hours long, and
Yeah, Roland.
Oh boy.
it has a shrimp and wine intermission. The
Oh,
people
boy.
of Neverwinter likes seafood as much as we do at home. So he looks at you and says, seafood is things that come from the sea, to Liam. I understand that your people mostly come from further inland, but I'm sure that just a warning, not of course to insinuate you have never had it before, but if you're not used to that sort of thing, it really does a number on your stomach. Even going this far north, I can feel it myself. I'm certainly not going out tonight. It was a little too adventurous at the buffet, I think.
Looks at his considerable stomach.
to be
That is
proper.
certainly a feat for him.
It turns out actually with that picture, it's actually just so much noble clothing. He's actually really thin. It's just all that noble clothing just bulks out.
He is bulky.
It certainly is a good thing that all the troubles we left behind during our travels will patiently wait while we entertain ourselves in buffets and opera houses.
It's quite clear by the look Roland gives you right now that he's not dead.
But a 4-hour opera, how can you possibly say no?
And unless the 4-hour opera somehow has something to do with our quest, Roland's going to be training.
Well then. Guess we're not doing the opera.
I mean, you can
You wish to stay the night here with Lord Nukri for the evening. He speaks. He seems to be a man who loves to speak, and will do so out to late. After which he will, apologize and say that now he has to go take care of personal matters. That seafood is not going to take care of itself after all.
Oh boy, yes.
Oh.
Leaving you perhaps at the table. It's perhaps like 10 in the evening.
Yes.
The Lord Nook certainly is a force of personality, isn't he?
guess I'll talk to my brother tomorrow. I think I can only stomach one family member a day.
So you say your brother is even worse.
But you should have told us, Gesha. He's such a delightful individual.
Oh, one more word like that, and I will think of something inconvenient.
Hey, at least you have a brother.
Do you plan to banish me for one month?
Why, now that you say that, it could be interesting to experience, wouldn't it?
That's what happens to his dad next time he starts talking. It's just he gets banished.
Good heavens, where am I?
He ends up in like some celestial kitchen. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. The beds here are certainly very soft, and your every need is catered to. You can
That's
have
nice.
a rose water bath, a massage, just, you know,
Yes.
the luxury and overflowing of nobles, drinking from glasses that could buy a normal man a house.
yeah. Roland's not having a massage. He doesn't trust enough people to give him a massage.
Riordan himself will retire a bit early, but will say to Roland and perhaps Liam as well that if they need to talk, then he will be in his room. Because understandably, Roland wanted to earlier, so.
And that will be a thing, which is as you kind of Riordan goes upstairs, and Roland stays downstairs for some time, and then inexplicably when he goes to the bar to get something, he isn't there anymore on the bottom floor.
Where'd he go?
Where instead Riordan's going to hear a knock at knock at his door.
Yes. Britain will let him in, and Roland will see that he has basically the desk or whatever table that he has been using has been his journal, and also the chronicle that he's been writing has splayed out on the table, and he has ink absolutely everywhere as if he had been furiously writing it for quite some time. And his hands are smeared, but he'll be like, "Yes, come in, come in."
Roland will do so, closing the door behind and almost double checking the door. A little bit paranoid.
It's evil. It'll eat you.
Roland does not trust being surrounded by nobility.
No.
They scheme.
Riordan will sit down on the bed and
Roland will move over and sit beside you.
sigh a little and say that there is no doubt in my mind that I cannot just leave this as it is. My grandfather would not let this stand, and as such, for the betterment of the house itself, however my father may feel and whatever attachment I have to him, I must do something. And so,
that's something.
well, it's not something that I can deal with myself. This is more of a political matter. But seeing as we do need some help because the demon lords are rising, I believe that we will have to take a trip and to gain an audience with Lord Neverember and plead my case as well of the case of the help that we need. Which is why, as you can see, he gestures towards like the table. Why I have been collecting evidence, I should suppose I should say. But there is one thing I would ask of you to do for me.
And that is?
Well, before my departure, although I suppose it is now repurposed, I did have my study. There are some things that I have hidden there. More so, the evidence that I had found of Galleon's assassination, and some journal entries of my thoughts before I left. It is not essential, but it would help if these were recovered for me, if they are yet still there. They will probably help me to convince the Lord to side with me.
Roland takes a slight moment, letting out a gentle sigh. It's been a long time since I've been asked by someone to do burglary.
Yes, I don't agree with it, of course, but I think that the situation...
Well, it is your room.
it is my room, yes, and it is my things. I'm just asking you to fetch them for me.
As Roland takes a moment, just collecting himself, thinking back. Definitely one of his looks of kind of reminiscing on the past, where he almost slipped into his memories a little bit before pulling himself back. Well, I did promise that I would help you however you needed to deal with the nobility here. And in that case, Roland kind of puts a hand toward his chest, kind of holding it in his heart. As I promised, I will help you get those files.
Thank you, Roland. It's nice to have someone that is closer to family than my own.
It seems like both of us are lacking for much nowadays.
Yes, but still, we must go on.
We all will.
And as such, to give you some help, because I have been gone for a year, but knowing my father and his good practices, he probably hasn't changed his schedule that much, although my aunt has probably reorganized some things. But the proposition I would make is that while we are, some of us at least, at this opera tomorrow, it might be the ideal case for you to slip away for a few hours. I know that during the day that the business side uh, is going to be run by my aunt, and most of the resources are going to be there. However, the manner in which my room was should be very lightly guarded, and as my father is now stricken ill, it shouldn't be much of a problem to get in there.
If you would care to draw me a quick map of where your room would be.
Yeah, he'll go up and do that, and give it to you. Basically, he'll basically give you a floor plan. He knows it off by heart in his head. He'll give it back to you, and say, that is, if renovations haven't been done, but it seems to be the same when I arrived today.
If they've made minor changes, I can deal with those. Just knowing where to start with.
Yes, he'll basically mark where his room would be, and give you a brief description of the
What you're looking for and where it is.
where it is. Yeah, basically.
Roland will definitely listen if we conspire our plan together.
And he will also say that he will ask Roland basically to tell everyone else, because right now he needs a bit of time to himself to collect himself, because he still has some things he needs to do and write down, and some plans to make for his own case to plead.
Roland nods. Shall I tell them everything?
Yes, I don't see why not. They are as much to me as we are both to each other. Although, Gesh at times is a bit irritating, but he has been a good ally.
I think we managed to earn back some of that today.
Yes, some well-needed revenge, and that's not going to stop tomorrow. That's for sure. I'll make sure to pick up your slack while you're gone.
Roland nods a little. Letting out a sigh again. It's a long journey we have got.
Yes, it's not quite the welcome that I expected or wanted. I dare say I feel a bit lost, but having you all here is more of an anchor to me, and I know what I really need to do now.
I don't know how good of an anchor we are, but
I'm still alive. I'm still here. I think that's pretty good to me.
that's not going to change.
Good. It seems we have come to a good agreement then. He'll offer to shake Roland's hand in kind of a jesty gesture.
He will shake it back in the jesty manner, though. Well, as usual, Ron's hand a little bit awkward. Like he does almost.
He'll give him a clap in the back and say, "Well, it's time for me to get back to work."
Trying to actually get some sleep. After all, you have guests tonight.
Yes, certainly I will.
As Roland will stand up and go to the door.
Yes.
Looking back, with a slight pause for a moment before exiting and closing the door behind him. making his way downstairs again, and, if possible, attempting to basically reappear at the table as if he had never left.
There's my wine. Where have you been?
Do you have any force? Though Roland will, later on when everyone else goes to retire, basically go to inform them of this as well. Kind of looking to everyone and kind of informing of the plan, what's going to be going through. Being explicitly secretive and trying to be subtle about it so Brumore does not find out. Roland does not trust the paladin to let him break into someone's house.
I mean, you could just message spell everyone anyway, so
It's true. I have the message spell. I can secretly message people.
completely invisible conversation.
I mean, message spell is sort of obvious because you still have to like.
You gotta do
Chant
the
words or
incantations
whatever.
and
Yeah, but
everything.
you can cunning action do cantrips, right? Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but you still hear it. Because I think there's
it's
a
still clear that I
somatic.
cast a spell, and you don't know what the message was. And the thing is, it's also to be a thing. Roland goes around just casting Mage Hand as a quick action all the damn time. Is it really that big of a deal?
No, I don't think so.
Kind of Roland's just normal duty. Just Mage Hand this, Mage Hand that.
So, does anyone have any more conversation they want to do this night, or simple? Okay.
No, I think I'm done at least.
Gasher's just going to take the most expensive bath option they have.
Oh sure. Like his skin will be soft, like a fluffy pillow, and smooth like silk. And he will have his feet filed down for all the wear and tear and whatnot. A few people washing him, taking care of him.
Roland would certainly take a much lower quality bath. Roland does not want loads of people serving over him. That would just make him too paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
Also, no massage because he does not trust that either.
In the morning, Gesh will find that a set of more proper clothes has been put like outside his door for him to wear.
Guess is going to look fabulous today.
Yes.
Right with Gussie him up until he's perfection. As good as his father.
Well, not quite. They couldn't get anything on short notice, but
Oh, of course, there is. They can't
more
match the
proper
fashion up.
than like the robe and whatnot. These people, all these ragged underdark clothes. Yeah. What is the party's plan for the day then?
Well, I think I'm going to curry some favor with Gesh's dad by going to the opera with him.
Sure. That is in the evening.
Right. Before that, though.
We could go to visit Gesh's brother.
Yes, I think
I
that's
think Gesh might do that alone.
sure. Sure, you don't need any backup.
No. It's not going to turn violent unless Gesh decides to make it violent,
Sure.
which is unlikely.
Tail Gesh. Tail Gesh.
I don't know. Reardon doesn't really have anything pressing. He has everything he wants set in motion. Don't know really. Unless Liam wants to do something.
I know. One thing Roland wants to do is kind of update some of his equipment so he doesn't he comes from the Underdark and completely.
No.
Riordan will also receive a message that has the address of people that he could remove for his family to ease their time in
Yes.
return for access to some of his grandfathers.
Yes, I feel like that is something that we should do before I completely rat them out, so I get some awesome stuff.
Sure.
So before you rat out your family, you're going to assassinate people for them?
I mean, they're smugglers.
Supposedly.
Supposedly, but I can probably just convince them to leave. But if they attack me first, it's not my fault.
It's fine. You can make them all run away with distant whispers.
Yeah, exactly.
Stolen service is getting a cool magical item, right? So.
Yeah.
It's only something I'm in lack of demand now.
It's my birthright, you know? I need it.
Other than Dawnbringer, do I have anything magical? Oh, the Handy Haversack. Okay, Handy Haversack and Dawnbringer.
Dawnbringer is
oh,
pretty magical.
there is one thing though that Raiden might want to do. This ring he has. Well, his house isn't really something he can go to now. But is there anyone else that he can go to help him with it? Because he wants this.
Well, he has heard recently a lot about a very talented mage in the city who's can be found in many other places and is high demand in many universities.
Oh yeah. Gash, can I come with you?
You know, I was also looking for someone to help me out with divination expertise, which
Yes.
Fuck's sake. Alright.
Gesh, your talented brother, do you think he could help me with this?
Yes. Well, I mean, I think Raiden would be nice enough to ask Gesh himself first. He would ask Gesh first to help.
Gesh just has that scrunched up Kermit face, you know, when he doesn't like anything.
Yes.
The problem here is, well, Riordan would ask Gesh. Roland, when he came to the conclusion of like thinking like, wait, where can I get someone who's really good who can help me with different? Oh right, I'll just tell Gesh.
Yeah. We just
So as Gesh begins to go to his brother, everyone else is sort of following, coming with him.
He's like, no, stop.
The thing is, if Roland stops following, you can't guarantee he did stop following. He might just be following and be hidden.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Raiden would tell him why he's coming with them. Honestly.
Yeah, that sounds like we're just going to go along overtly with him, not trying to just follow him. So.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure Liam needs to learn some extra magical techniques to blow people up with.
I mean, he's pretty good at that already.
And you know, he's a bodyguard to, well, I suppose Riordan, not quite a hot spot.
Not yet. Officially.
Hot sad.
Very sad. sad halfling.
Sure. You can certainly go to the House of Knowledge. It's a massive building. Well, multiple buildings really, but a lot of them are in ruin. One seems to have sort of been partially rebuilt, while others have they got a few like what seems to be like apprentice wizards and such, just keeping an eye out, sitting around, being available, probably because they're too unimportant or too weak to be able to go inside and clean up stuff, but to keep people and adventurers perhaps particularly from just looting everything there is here. That seems to not be in the city's best interest, and that is sort of what the law does right now.
When we talk to my brother, however, you will not ridicule me, otherwise I will be upset.
Raiden will say, if you can promise me the same thing moving forward, then I will agree with you.
Riordan, I've never ridiculed you.
Oh, I don't know.
Back in that prison when we first met, I told myself that I would try honesty. And ever since then, I have not lied to any of you once. That includes ridicule. I say what I think about people. I make my sarcasm obvious.
Yes. That's fine. I promise you. Because this isn't something that I know too much about. I know it's a bit important to you. So, no. I'll keep it serious.
Perhaps a bit of perspective. You've had contact with the same creature that gives me my magic.
Yes.
Although you have taken that deal in a rather desperate situation. And probably would not afford to make the same deal in any other less desperate situation. I have done the same thing, consciously, knowing exactly what it would mean for me because of my brother. He is important, I am not. He knows magic, I did not.
I understand, Gush.
Gush just frowns and continues walking.
Ronald's just going to pull back to beside Riordan, not saying anything and not, well, you know. Roland doesn't have to speak up, doesn't have to call problems, and honestly, most of the time Roland doesn't want to anyway.
It's more unspoken communication. We don't need to speak.
We can just give looks of amusement.
Yeah.
And our secret signals.
Secret signals, yeah.
As you go close, one of the apprentices will sort of step up to you and sort of say, "Excuse me, but this place is off limits. Brumor, we don't want to repeat last week's incident. Anything found on these premises belongs to the city."
Take me to Dester, he's my brother.
Oh, you're Gesh then?
Yes, I am.
Sort of not just. Very well then. Sort of looks to Brumor to sort of confirm that this is.
He nods, and then kind of like matches up to the guy and like leans in and whispers, They always just seem to have such interesting conversations. It's fascinating. It's the weirdest group I've ever guided around the city.
Sort of just gives him the adventurous look.
Yeah.
And then he goes to. A little while goes by. Perhaps Desta is doing something important. Probably.
I guess he's not going to wait. He's just going to storm past everyone, really.
Sure, it looks like a basically archaeology dig site. As out from a room comes another walking with a staff, covered in cloak and amulets, and sort of an air of magic around him. A smell of sophistication, of herbal tea and old books. As he walks out, stout and sort of tall, looking out with an imperious glare that shows that he is a man who always acts with the best of intentions and the utmost righteousness.
Look at him.
As he steps out, taking a look through the room, looking at all of you, and then looking to Gesh and say, "Brother."
Hello. It's been a while.
Too long. She steps close, looks at you, says, "You've grown."
Not only in size, but also in experience, to say the least.
Sighs slightly and says, "Yes, you surprised us all. It was not very considerate, Gesh, but I won't lecture you on that. I'm sure you will know what I would say."
I didn't mean to be considerate.
"You certainly accomplished it." He sort of looks to you and says, "An adventurer now, is it?"
Not by choice, but as it seems, purpose has found me rather than myself finding it.
That is usually how it goes. Not all can be as fortunate as we are. Our upbringing has given us many opportunities. We have a responsibility to use them well.
More opportunities for some than others.
He nods slowly and says, "Gesh, are you all right? You've been gone for a long time. I wasn't sure if you'd made it. I tried to scry on you, but wherever you were, it was impossible."
Yes, there was.
"What you did, Gesh, and no need to pretend. I recognize the sorts of things you did.
I'm not trying to hide what I did, brother.
I know, Gesh."
I am
So
aware
looks
of the
to-
consequences. You do not need to patronize my choices.
Gesh, you have signed your soul to damnation. I he sort of stops himself. I will not lecture you, Gesh. I have had this conversation in my mind many times.
Well, quite frankly, brother, go ahead, because I'm quite sure I'm not going to stay long, and then I'm going to be gone for another quite a while, to say the least. So if there's anything you need to get off your mind, now's the time.
Gesh, let me help you.
Oh, you can help me, all right, but not in this.
I've always tried to be there for you. I've always tried to be a good brother. I just sometimes don't know how.
Well, then,
I what he said what you did, Gesh. I can't. I still can't believe it.
could you stop for a moment referring to what I did? Just breathe for a moment, and then lead me to somewhere private so I can tell you where I've been.
He sort of nods. Says, "Yes, this way, my office." She goes up a stair, then up another stair, and then up another one to the top of the building. Nice office view out over the city. She goes in, gestures for you to sit and counts. It sort of is the fantasy version of a beanbag chair office. Everything's very informal and comfortable. There's light reading sort of on shelves, a few plants around, a nice sort of magical light shining above it, as looking like a miniature sun shining brightly down. It is lightly gilded, well furnished, but not gaudy like his father might have had it. Everything seems to have a purpose, and the sort of the beautification of the room is happened mainly through different magical instruments and astrological things for counting the stars and the movement of the constellations. He says, "Please, your friends and Sir Brumor here is, of course, welcome to come as well, I assume."
Certainly.
He nods. But please make yourself at home. Yes, he goes. I would anyone be in mood for tea?
And shakes his head and will just lean in a corner.
No, thank
As
you.
he goes to his ever brewing kettle and pours some herbal tea in a nice decorated like porcelain cups. You know, there's little.
You could steal that kettle.
I need that kettle in my life.
You do.
Before he goes to sit down, like you know, across from Gesh, and sort of breathe as he smells his cup and say,
So, brother, you know me well enough that you know that on occasion I exaggerate. Let me assure you that what I tell you now is not an exaggeration, and I've brought at least 2 witnesses in this very room who can confirm everything I say. If needed, there's a couple more people outside. Now, about a year ago, I was kidnapped by Drow while out about, strolling about, looking for something that is none of your business. I was taken to the Underdark, held prisoner as some sort of curious creature to be sacrificed for some sort of ritual or whatever. And ever since then, we've been traveling through said Underdark to try to get back to the surface. During our travels, we discovered things. More specifically, demon princes, demon queens rising from the abyss and wreaking havoc. They are not going to stay in the Underdark. The reason why I couldn't scry me is because of a purple mist that I can't make much sense of, but it is faintly magical, and I think it makes people insane, other than also blocking divination magics. Now that's the short version, which hopefully contains enough things to worry you.
he nods slightly and says, "That makes sense. Yes,
Gesh blinks.
I have been." Gesh, I've been corresponding with some colleagues about similar. I'm glad you're all right, though. The Underdark can be a frightful place. She looks to the rest of you.
We are aware.
Just nods, yes.
None of us came for unscathed.
I'm glad you've brought this to my attention. I'm glad you're here, Gesh.
And you know what? I think down there I would have died had I not done the thing. So maybe it was a good idea. Cash frowns.
Clearly, as he's going to clearly argue the point, as he then just like takes another sip of tea and just breathes out. Just, Gesh, sometimes I think I might be the reason you left. I've been doing a lot of thinking. I'm going to try to correct you less often, to be a better brother to you than I have been. I have done my best, but I think perhaps I have come to make you feel inferior. That was not my intention, Gesha. What I do and what you do is important, and I don't want to take that away from you. So, if I apologize if I come across as anything but sincere. My, I I'm I'm trying to.
Listen, shut up for a moment. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at pretty much everything else, really. So that is any consolation, then that's something. And in fact, earlier you offered help. I would like to accept. Because I will need every book you have in this or any other library you have access to about said demon princesses and queens and kings and whatever else lurks in the Underdark. I have a solution.
You know, and and this is not going to be. Gesh, you understand if I'm hesitant to give you access to tomes that might contain information on topics such as demonic bindings and contracts and soul trades, and that's you will understand that I have responsibility to the city as well as
Do
to
you
you.
think I'm going to do the thing twice?
Looked at your companion and says, "You all, you're very quiet. I imagine my brother has asked you not to interfere, but I would ask you to please just. If you've traveled with my brother in the Underdark, you've likely seen more of what he does than I have. When he left, I know that he had bound himself to something unholy, something vile. Is
Very subjective
this
opinions, and while I don't disagree that my patron's inevitable goals aren't exactly the best, it is fact that nothing of this will ever concern any of
Yes,
us, or
please,
any, even future generations won't
please
care.
let them talk. I wish to hear what they have to say.
There's nothing else other than to say that Gesh himself is right, and while maybe his actions may seem confusing and not understandable, to you, I do indeed trust him, and being with him for an entire year where we have protected each other and helped each other and survived together and have encountered many horrible things, I feel that in his own right, he should be able to speak for himself, and I do not think that I need to speak for him at all.
You know,
Gesh looks over to him. Gesh has been interesting to travel with. We have we have not always our group has not always got along, and yet at the same time, Gesh has been there. He's been invaluable. The skills he has picked up have been wondrous and useful for our purposes. even if their source is, well, outside my expertise. But I do believe that he has the best of intentions. And I'd see it very unlikely that he's going to attempt to do anything that's going to, well, worry you in that regard.
Bromore, what is your opinion? You've likely been with them for a little bit. You've seen how they behave. What do you reckon?
Yeah, sits a bit straighter out in his seat and says, well, they're a strange group. They seem to have some odd connections in the city, but ultimately I think they are good for each other. They seem closely packed. And that can only be bred from fighting and almost dying together.
Guess it's been almost a year. Maybe even more. I lose track of time nowadays, but I have considered much about you and the way you left. And you know, I have grown as a person.
I'm
And I
sure you have.
come to the conclusion that perhaps I was wrong.
In what, specifically?
I have often judged that you acted like a child, that you attempted to always prove that you're right, no matter the circumstances, no matter the consequences of such a proof. And I've never found that. To be honest, I've never had an easy time understanding you, Gesh. We grew up together, and you know as well as I that it has not always been easy for me.
Well, maybe you should try for
Gesh,
once
please
assuming.
let me speak. I have thought about this, and I have considered that you are grown up just as I am, brother. And that I, when you returned, would do my best to respect your decisions. It's clear, I trust your word and the word of your companions, that you have gone through much, Gesh, and though I cannot know practical use of your actions, it seems that at least you have a goal, something you're working towards. I understand that this is not something that father or mother would approve of, that and you know, Gesh, I will try to speak to them for you, to convince them that there might be merit in you doing what you think is best. You make decisions that I would not make. You made this deal rather than I could have taught you, Gesh. You know that, but never mind. I I want to help you, Gesh, and I am willing to trust that what you want is the right thing. I'm willing to trust that you have a good heart, brother, because I believe in second chances. I believe that perhaps I forced your hand by not giving you enough space. By trying to help you too much, I pushed you out on this trail. I made you what you are today. And I wish to say that I have prepared something for you. For the day you would come back.
What exactly
Goes
would
over
that be?
to his desk, unlocks with a key, a lower drawer, and takes out a long, thin black box. So we're almost reluctantly hands it to him. Says, take this, brother, as a gift.
What is it?
It is something I had made for you. It is not easy, but I believe someone of your new relation can use such a thing. Open it, please. He steps back and sits down. Drinking some more of his tea. This is really a difficult situation.
Gash sort of gives him a suspicious glance for a long moment, and then what's in the box?
Opening it, inside you find a long, thin rod of a black metal with swirly designs running up it. As you reach your hand for it, it has a weak hum almost. Finger Muncher tightens his claws on your shoulder in sort of a slight greed.
Does Riordan feel that thing, or is it just on Gesh?
It's only when you're really close to it. It appears to be a magical rod of some form.
Ooh.
Thanks, brother. I can't say I expected our conversation to go as it did.
Says, yes, I am glad you're willing to listen, Skesh.
I will,
I
however,
mean,
say that I'm not going to stay here for too much longer. I will go back into the Underdark.
he nods. Yes. While you're here, I shall see that as many books are made available to you as possible.
Thank you.
I was on the fence of if you would ask such a thing of me, but the fact that you travel with others, that they travel with you, and that your words echo true to things I have already been hearing in the academic circles, I trust you to make the right decision, Gesh, even if it is a decision I would not make. Do you understand? Do you?
I'm sure we'll have to make plenty of more decisions where I can consider your words. But I will continue to do what I do, and no conversation is going to change that.
He nods. Yes, that is what I have come to realize. Instead of trying to convince you otherwise, I will accept you as my brother. I stand by you, Gesh, and if you ever need anything, then I'm your brother. I will help you.
I think my companions want something from you.
He nods slowly and looks to them.
Yes, it is a concern of an item of a magical nature. As he kind of gets up to go a bit closer, and basically will lift up his hand that the ring is on, and basically reveal it to him, and say that there is some entity left within this ring that is, I'm afraid to say, influencing me a little, and I would ask your advice in getting rid of it.
He will take out a monocle from his front pouch, put it on, and then lean forward to look at the ring, reaching to sort of hold Riordan's wrist as he gingerly inspects it,
Yes.
mumbling a few magical words as he nods to himself. Yes,
File.
it appears to be that a soul is stuck in it. Such a thing can be removed, though it should best be done by a cleric. I can refer you.
That would be, I would be most grateful. Yes, thank you.
Spigot nods.
Okay.
Roland will then move forward afterwards, looking kind of awkwardly for a slight moment.
A little surprised at the number of Gesh's friends who need magical help. To Roland.
As Roland kind of looks a bit awkwardly for a moment. In my case, it's not direct magical help, but advice, I think, more appropriately here. The Underdark, as was mentioned, there's this thick mist through it that's made, as far as I'm aware, makes divination difficult or impossible.
He nods.
This is a problem, and there's a few matters in the Underdark which magical help would have been very useful. You see, there are people down there I'm attempting to track down, and finding them has proven difficult. And in two front, then, if you either have help, well, I kind of have two projects I need help with. Either if you have any idea and ways to possibly try and get past that stuff down there, and make someone trying to find them easier with magic, or at least pauses, gulps. Do you know much of what the Drow do to the prisoners they take?
He nods slowly, considering the first question. Says, "What you speak of is Fesren. It is an ancient thing, and no, there's no way to circumvent it. It hides some evil even from the sight of the gods. I attempted to find Gesh, and the Underdark was a place I considered. Knowing that you cannot scry someone is information in and of itself. It means that they are somewhere where they cannot be scryed. Well, there are few locations that have such attributes. If you know the person, we could attempt to reach them, and if we fail, we will know at least that they are in a place such as you describe."
I suppose it would be better to try than not.
As for what the Drow do with their prisoners, he sort of looks at you, and his eyes sort of, they're compassionate. He seems to understand where you're coming from. It is never a pretty sight, but it is also known that they do not kill them easily. Slavery is their preferred means to work. People with skills are often used to perform said skills. Smiths can smith for them. Beast handlers can handle their creatures. Such things. It is not a good existence, but they might very well be left alive, unless an example is needed. Especially those who might know magic can be useful to the Drow. It is a rare enough thing amongst themselves, and magical slaves can do many useful things, though they are, of course, heavily controlled.
Perhaps that is some blessing to some I've lost then, given their families seem to have a knack for the magical.
If they are elves,
Not quite. Well, one of them was.
nods.
I have, and he was quite the strong mage, though I doubt the elves have left him in one piece.
There is, if it is people who have been taken by the Drow, there is something I might be able to do for you, though it will take some time. Connections go many places, and I will have to see what I can find.
Any help would be appreciated.
No.
Sadly, I do not even have anything of theirs left to really show, other than sketches I've drawn of them. The Drow were meticulous, ensuring I didn't have anything when they captured me.
I will see if I can find something for you regardless.
Roland nods.
If you stay in the city, I should be able to find you.
Roland nods again. Taking in a deep breath. It's pretty clear to everyone in the room, Roland's trash at deception, that Roland's actually close to breaking here a little bit. He kind of thinks about this.
Vesta looks away, letting you sort of, not purposefully not seeing it.
Yes.
Is there anything else I can help you with? Guess if you wish to look at these books, I will acquire you a library card to begin with. That will be a start, at least. We can, for special occasions, have things brought up from Candlekeep.
I suppose I'll fight the demonic invasion one library card at a time then.
Things are not as simple as they might be out there. There are always regulations and rules to follow. I will take care of them for you. She'll stand, walk over to Gesh, and sort of reach to give him a stiff hug.
Guess we'll return it awkwardly.
Oh.
It is a very awkward hug, but it's very clear that Desta is trying very hard to be comforting.
Oh.
Boy sort of steps back. I have much to see to, Gesh. I will send someone when I have it. I'll make it a priority.
Yes, you do your important mage things then. I have my own important things to do.
He nods. Yes, I'm sure you do. I'll see you around, Gesh.
I suppose. Guess we'll slowly leave.
He sort of stands and looks after him.
Oh.
Probably going through the conversation again and again in his head.
Roland slowly following.
Weird will kind of basically walk a bit closer to Roland. Not saying anything, but just knowing that he's there in presence for him.
Roland wants to go back to the bar.
Yes.
It's not easy for him to talk about.
Well, that was like pulling teeth.
Yeah. Happy families, right, Cash?
Very.
Very.
So cheerful, all of us.
To think that he pretends to know how I think. Seriously.
We don't even know how you think.
Well,
I don't know how I think.
Looks to finger
don't
muncher.
ask me.
Like, Roland just looks to finger muncher.
uh,
No, finger muncher probably doesn't know either.
Think how much is uninterested.
yes.
Of course.
He knows some of what Gesh thinks, and he doesn't like it much. Gesh is too focused on existence.
He needs to go to oblivion, nothingness.
He hasn't caused anyone to have nightmares in a while.
Are we sure?
I mean, our waking life was enough of a nightmare for him, so I'm sure he's fine. He's sated for now, hopefully.
Kind of hard to compete against the Underdark.
Yeah.
You can certainly return, or you could go to the address that Riordan was.
Yeah,
was
I
given
think.
first. Which, considering the time currently, I don't know if you guys want to. There might be a fight there.
It's up to you guys. I don't mind.
I'm okay with going a bit overtime.
I'm incredibly tired.
That's fine. We can pick it up next week. We can go.
We can continue this next week if you would like.
If there's gonna be a fight and stuff, I'd rather have enough like time not to rush it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. I can do that.
I planned for this to be one session worth, but as usual, when you plan for things,
yeah,
you always.
We had more thoughts.
I mean,
I'm
when
just
someone
having so much fun. You know,
someone is as charming as Gesh's dad,
yeah, you kind of,
just have to.
you lose track of time. He's so wonderful and majestic.
Yes, I think this was D&D 5e Broken Families edition.
It's
Oh man, our families are just terrible.
terrible. All of them are.
I want to punch Riordan's aunt. What a bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, I was so hoping Riordan would give me the signal to teleport behind her face.
I was ready to murder.
I was tempted, but I knew he wouldn't do it. So.
Which is I could just snap.
Then perhaps we shall allow it to be. I don't know. Maybe your characters want to talk a little bit. We still have some time, but.
Where actually that cleric that has he referred me? Is he going to send me a message? about?
No,
Or...
he will give you a referral, obviously. A
Okay.
piece of paper he can write down on, like, he's clearly on first name basis with the the high
Yes.
priest of
Uh,
Halldamir.
is that
Who
something
can
that
remove the curse.
he can do now, or?
Yeah, you could go and get that handled. It'll probably take an
Yeah.
hour or two.
Sure. Yeah.
It is
Like-
something they can do.
I think he'd like to get that done
And
because
Gesh's brother, Desta, is a really cool guy, and he has lots of friends who
yes.
will help him with these sorts of things.
So yeah, so they're basically help with the curse, but also he might ask about his own issues, if you know what I mean, in terms of madness, if that could be either alleviated or some advice, maybe.
Yes, those afflicted by such things, rare as it is, usually only comes in dire contact with something very demonic. High archdemons and the like can inflict parts of themselves upon mortals. Should you see a demon, the weak-minded would fall on their knees and praise it. That is their power and their nature. They are corruptors. The way to deal with such things, some spend entire lives getting over it. There are some monasteries in the far-off mountains where a simple life, simple living, people can find themselves again if they are resolute
Okay.
and willing to take the time to go through the monotony of a simple life.
Time for that.
Okay.
We were hoping for
So-
more like an acid
And-
bath or something. You could not
Yeah,
just
like a
just-
more
just-
less time consuming thing, like not
Yeah.
become a hermit for this for life.
Flies
That's
back
fine.
again and
Can you
says,
can you just
sadly,
blast my
life
mind?
is not as exciting as adventuring all the time. Sometimes you must take the time to take care of yourself, or, well, you can't help anyone.
Unfortunately, the drow don't wait for us to take a spa.
Yeah, I mean, I do appreciate the advice though.
You can certainly suggest that when you feel you have the time, if this is something you're worried about, if losing yourself is something you're worried about, there are monasteries who take in travelers such as you, live simple lives in the mountains, who learn to master themselves, and that is something that can help.
Okay. I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Beyond that, staying away from the demonic is always.
We also didn't get. We also
He'll
didn't
try
get,
his best, but
Not.
honestly,
He's
yeah.
asking us to do the impossible here twice.
Well, at least the pudding king is not whispering into him as he sleeps now anymore.
The what?
Wait,
It's
sorry.
only
Did
finger
I not
munch.
tell you guys about that? Oh, sorry.
It's only gonna be finger munch and whispering into your ear now.
Slipped my mind.
Boy.
Well, he's gone, I think. So
Oh,
Probably.
I think Muncher will actually try to convince Gesh to work a bit of magic, perhaps give his father and brother some nightmares to chew upon.
oh,
He can help you.
No.
It's just a matter of willingness to. The Lord who devours all easily makes it so that you can.
Soon enough, there will be enough nightmares around. I don't need to create my own.
Muncher will mumble something about prolonging the end unnecessarily.
it's inevitable. It's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
To Finger Muncher, all existence is imperfection, for it is not part of him. And,
Wow.
well, things that don't exist are perfect.
I thought he used to be nice, but things change.
no, he's never been nice.
No, you were just delusional because you got drowned. By
I was. I was so delusional. I was like, "Oh, this guy looks like a
Because
class
you were
act. I love him."
murdered. That's
As,
why.
as everyone's gonna have to remind you, I remind you of my triple dash dump diving into the water to save your life.
Jordan had nightmares. They were fed to the great worm.
Pretty bad nightmares too.
He loved them.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I managed to triple dash and
Literally,
save you.
in a second, he was aware of something like that even existing. Yeah, his consciousness is too vast for any notice of small being issue.
I hope he had a nice meal. I suppose for that millisecond of his
Yeah.
existence.
Beyond that, if Gesh uses some time at checking out the rod he's probably
Oh yes.
it will appear to be a rod of the Pact Keeper,
Ooh.
+1.
Which means
Not made by his brother, but found and cleansed from the foul magic that was upon it, and now repurposed for him to show Gesh that he, even though he doesn't understand him, accepts who he is.
A Rod of the Pack Keeper +1.
Yes.
Okay.
It gives you a +1 to spell attack rolls and saving throw DCs with Warlock spells.
Ooh.
Beyond
that's
that, you can, once per long rest, spend an action to regain a Warlock spell slot.
neat. Ooh.
Oh, that's very good.
Yay!
Yay!
One extra spell
Spell
slot.
slots.
Woo.
Yeah.
Woo.
That is very considerate
It is.
of my brother.
Gesh is very happy that Gesh took his help.
Yeah.
He didn't say something like he didn't need him.
it's something now if you said yes to giving him nightmares, it's like, oh, well, we didn't.
Aw, feel
Aw.
bad now.
Could even do it with a new rod.
And he made it just for you, even though he didn't really, accept your decision. I understand.
Well, the thing
What a
is,
nice guy.
the
What
thing
nice.
is, of course he's nice. There was company. It wasn't just him and Gesh. That would have turned out much different.
Yes, I'm so glad that we came with you. See,
Would you rather I was invisible next time?
we backed you up.
It's about the subtext. He doesn't agree. He thinks Gesh doesn't do the right choices. He thinks he's better.
Should we both be invisible next time, Jordan?
I mean,
he is better. I mean, look at him.
Liam,
What? But
please.
he like knows the high priest by name.
Oh,
He's
I
so
know,
cool,
I know
though.
a priest.
Liam is like, he's so cool.
Poster.
Oh my god, he's so. Yes, it's like
Saving
signed.
the world one day at a time.
Had his autograph since I've been 16
inspiration
years
ball.
old. You just have like a poster.
We
in your
all
room.
do our part for the greater good.
Yes.
It's like a signed poster of him up
I
in your
want
room.
you
like,
to join the good fight.
Looking out over the ocean.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. What a guy.
I like the advice though. The high priest gave was like, well, live your life by yourself. Become a Buddhist, and you'll be perfectly fine within yourself.
Sadly, Riordan's not ready for a life in a monastery.
I don't think you could sit still for more than like.
He
an
sits
hour.
there meditating and suddenly he's like, I must wear the flesh of my enemies.
Ah! Oh wait.
As an old monk smiles at him and says, there, Riordan. There's a long path to walk.
Where are my trophies? Where have you taken them?
I mean, as I did say, I did confiscate your trophies before.
I need
Oh,
them.
yeah.
The remains of my vanquished foes.
Yes.
I must have them
Yeah.
to bedeck myself.
I hope you enjoyed the session. Low in mechanics, perhaps, but
No, I had fun.
You
Oh,
know.
I had a lot of fun.
So everyone's enjoyed D&D 5e Broken Family Edition.
basically.
Halldamir, not getting to be sort of fully here, but he did get his own session. I hope that is okay. Even stretching this into another session.
I don't know. I like Brumar. So
I actually also enjoyed Brumar a little bit for the sense of kind of Roll and kind of looking over suspiciously at the paladin right there. It's like I can't just
Yeah.
illegal with him there.
also it's nice to have another witness. And,
We will continue next week. Then, if you have any questions, you can write them to me in between.
Yes.
I think I will go now to take a night walk with my sister, and I had a lot of fun. So
Thank you very much, Malachi.
yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.
Yep.
I'll see you
Please
later.
stay and hang
See ya.
out. I will close the server though.
Yep.
Don't do anything. Don't do anything. Don't make it crash.
Ah.
I'm gonna stop recording.
I'm actually gonna quickly save my token.
Good night.